This week, Nintendo started the first full week of the year off with news of a partnership allowing their flagship series characters to be used in a non-Nintendo game. There's plenty of other movement as we progress into 2015, and we'll tell you more along with your comments, calls, and emails right now on the show, where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio, live on this January 11th of 2015, episode number 583 of our show. And we are here to talk about video games, gaming culture, and the gamer lifestyle over the next 3 hours with you guys, all our live participants and podcast participants, and us here in studio. My name is Rob Roberts, and joining me, as always, say hello to Dark Sakura or Jamie Summers. And is that your final word on the matter?
No.
How are you?
I'm in recovery.
In recovery? You right? Are you hungover or?
No, I had a bad migraine yesterday, so my head has that weird numb feeling today.
Oh, those are no fun.
Yeah, so I have a sinus infection.
Uh-huh.
I am taking antibiotics. Mm-hmm. I'm going to have great skin in about another few days.
You sound really good for having a sinus infection, so you must be a couple days into.
It hurts, but I've been on the antibiotics for about a week now.
Gotcha.
So, doing mostly better, but it's just like, oh, come on, I had the flu, then it's a sinus infection. What's next? Pneumonia?
Don't ask.
Actually, that is what happened last time I had a major sinus infection.
Be careful what you wish for. You better knock on wood. Well, if you need me to turn down some lights here in Studio N7, just let me know.
That's fine.
Luckily, it's not a TV show.
Just get me Pinkberry later.
A lot of people want to know, why don't you do OLR like a video? Why don't you do like a feed of stuff? Which, to be fair, we used to do a long time ago.
Because no.
But that would involve extra lighting, which is going to make headaches even worse.
Because no. That's why. Because no.
It's Orange Lounge Radio, not Orange Lounge Video. No. Also here tonight, say hello to Techmaster Loki.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Loki?
Tired.
Tired? Yeah, I see you got an ample supply of Red Bull here in the studio
That's
tonight.
my second one today.
Oh, my gosh.
It's the only thing that's keeping me awake.
If you ever want to start drinking coffee, let me know. We got a coffee maker.
I drink coffee too, but...
Oh, do you?
I don't like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I
Blasphemy.
I
I
drink
wouldn't
like the
live without
frou
it.
stuff, like the white mochas and crap.
Oh, Starbucks, like the, you
Yeah.
know, oh, I want a mochaccino, and I want soy, and I want 3 pumps, sugar-free,
fuck
vanilla.
that shit. Yeah.
And
Okay, Mr. Non-Fat Latte.
which is my actual order, just so you know. Just kidding.
See, I could go to any Starbucks and order. I could go anywhere and order Rob a drink as long as it has caramel and is non-fat.
Is that so bad? Non-fat milk is not so bad.
It's like milk flavored water.
I know, but
I wholly agree.
But if you have the whole like my body doesn't like dairy things, and it's a good way to save on fat, then I don't think it's so bad. The drinks turn off. It has coffee in it still. That's the most important part.
I'd like you to take that coffee and melt some butter and pour it inside there.
You know, I actually...
That's how you get fat.
No, that's bulletproof coffee. Fat is good for you. Fat is
a little
good for
fat
you.
is good for you. Like fat in like peanuts is good, but fat in French fries from McDonald's is not so good for you.
Well, they're not really food anyways. It's
Eating whole foods that has not been processed is better for you than eating food that's been extra processed.
But Frappuccinos have been processed, as delicious as they are.
That's okay. I'll still get my Americano.
All right. Look, we have our chatters, the live chat room every week.
We only have them if they bring me coffee.
Over at the Voice of Geeks Network, vognetwork.com. We do tape live every Sunday night at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, right after the Bobby Blackwolf show. And if you are listening live tonight, first off, thank you. You've chosen us over the Golden Globes. And I hope that didn't
you
make
made the smart choice.
Yeah, you made the right choice. So I hope that didn't make you go, oh shit, and turn this off and go turn the Golden Globes on. Anything you need to see will be on YouTube tomorrow.
Although if you're listening to this on Monday, it's too late.
It's too late.
You
missed
can't
it.
turn it off now.
You're stuck with us for 3 hours. All right, anyway. Let's see. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Alan Alchemy says, Sky wants to get a sinus infection in the days before his Seattle trip. So don't breathe on me, Jamie.
My response is that sinus infections are not contagious. It's bacteria because of the weirdness in my nose from the flu.
Fifth Dream in chat says, Starbucks, I'd like a coffee. What's that?
No. I'm sorry.
accurate.
That would be Dutch Brothers.
No. Starbucks says, I'd like coffee. Do you want it triple burnt?
I prefer Dunkin' Donuts, where I get my sugar scoops with a side of coffee.
If I'm gonna go anywhere, for frou-frou coffee, I will go to Dutch Brothers because I'm sorry,
Do they
they
even have any of those in Sacramento?
Yeah, there's like
there's a
5 of
ton
them.
Where?
All over the place.
Any near me without giving my address away on air?
There's one on Garfield.
Oh,
I think,
shit,
yeah.
I didn't know. All right.
But
There's one by my house.
I was checking Odie and Normal this whole time.
But I'm gonna say if I'm gonna get like actual coffee at a chain, I'm gonna go to Pete's.
Pizza's pretty good.
Pizza's
Anyway.
good.
Let's see. Alan Alchemy in chat says non-fat milk for when you don't want coffee black, but also don't want to be farty, bloaty all fucking day just for some caffeine. Thank you, Alan Alchemy. You have an eloquence with words that sometimes me hosting a radio show for 13 years I fail with.
Almond
Thank
milk.
you.
Almond milk lattes.
Is okay. Is okay. Alan really likes that stuff. I'm not big on that. Act Deft in chat says he's watching the Golden Globes while listening to OLR. Well,
No.
as long as they're muted.
You have to choose.
right.
I'll put on the mask if I have to and chain you to the wall.
Make your choice. All right. Anyway, let's get into our show tonight, and we'll talk about our gaming weeks, the types of games we've been playing this week. But obviously, this was a big week over the Voice of Geeks Network. We had the VOG Game Jam going on this week, which was the effort to get more people to create things. And we picked a theme a few weeks ago on the show, which was a buggy game through our highly scientific listless process. And a few of you have submitted games. I saw about 7 emails come in, which, to be honest, I only thought there was going to be like maybe 3. So the fact that even like we got 7, and that's just the people that remembered to actually send in an official email, which is what you were supposed to do before the deadline per the thing on the forums. But I have a feeling we're going to get even more than that in the coming days because there's a lot of people that weren't able to finish their stuff. Like I saw like YYR on Twitter, which is funny enough. YYR kind of inspired this whole idea, and he wasn't able to finish his thing just because of IRL stuff, but I'm pretty sure he'll end up submitting something late. And Loki, I know your project was extremely ambitious, and the deadline has come and gone, and
I tried, and I was super stressed out and tired this entire
You
week.
tried, Gold Star. You tried.
I just, try working 8 hours after sleeping only a couple hours a day for 2 weeks. Yeah.
But what's interesting is that, seeing what you have on YouTube and hearing about, I haven't seen what you have built in Unity right now, but
different. Yeah.
It seems like you've actually got a game. It's just not to that level that you wanted it to be at right now.
Well, it's not.
You have a car that can drive around a track. You have that.
Yeah, I've got that. I've got checkpoints, and I just don't have it all hooked together, I guess, and I don't have levels. Well, and it's not necessarily a racing game on top of that. That's the funny part about it. It's more like sort of like a WarioWare type of game, because basically each level, as I mentioned before, is it's broken in a different way. And so it's, one level you may have to race to the finish line, in the quickest time. Another level, maybe, oh crap, you have to survive for a certain amount of time, or other things that get thrown your way, and just.
But that sounds very ambitious because you're trying to you have to build each one of those different criteria instead of taking just one of them and getting your project. I see why you didn't
I even
finish.
tried. I was like, okay, well maybe I'll just scrap something together real quick, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Which and YYR is in chat room saying that, it was a week to come up with the idea and then a couple hectic weeks of work. You know what? I can't pick on YYR because I'm in the same boat, is that, I was unable to finish my project because I had my day job stuff come into play, which, I don't make apologies for that. The day job pays for this, so stuff with that will always come first. As a policy, I don't talk about. And as you can imagine, with a lot of the crap that happened on Twitter in 2014, you can see why I'm not always up front. Heaven forbid I say something that pisses the wrong person off on this program. So I don't really talk about my day job on air. But, I had to basically say I'm not going to get done with the project because I have the day job in the way. But does that mean it was a total failure? No, I don't think so at all, because I feel more empowered now than I did a few weeks ago. Making a game really felt unattainable. It really did. Like, I just I can play them and I can comment on them and I can make silly games and games in other games. But this whole Unity thing, I was like, oh, that's for people that studied computer science in college. That's for people that have more background than I do. But I think something I learned through this whole process, and I thank the, once again, the Cooking with Unity guys who were on about a month ago on the show for this. And I thank Loki for this in large part. I thank a lot of you for this as well, is that, helping to show that Unity is something you can do. So I did download, install Unity. I had an idea. I started to do some very basic motion things, but unfortunately that's only as far as I could get. My idea was stupid simple though, and I do want to finish it at some point. And in a nutshell, my idea was taking, and everybody knows the fly swatter game in Mario Paint, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows that game. Everybody loves that game. I was going to take that concept and reverse it, basically, that you're the fly and you're trying to dodge all the swatters. And that was and I wanted to keep it like Atari 2600 level basic. And I kind of was fleshing that out when in one of the very, very early Cooking with Unity videos, which I was using to really help me learn the thing, they were talking about you could kind of have like a consistent motion, but you can also have that be altered with what the gamepad does. So I wanted the fly's movement to be very erratic and difficult to control, and then that would kind of be the bugginess of the game, as well as, the fact that it was literally about a bug. So that was my idea. And what was really funny is Loki was like, I could build that in like an hour. You want me to just do your game for you? And I'm like, wait, no, that's not the.
I should have just done that.
I should have just jacked my idea. I'm like, that's not the point.
Knock that out in the weekend,
but that would have ruined the whole thing. So unfortunately, I don't have anything to present today, but I feel still like there was a success. We've crossed a point that we might not have otherwise. So I'm happy with that in that regard. But focusing less on the negative of me and focusing on the positive of you guys, I'm really happy to see what was submitted out there and the fact that so many of you participated. And funny enough, I saw that the Cooking with Unity guys were participating too. I don't know what it was they were doing.
Oh, I saw.
I didn't watch it
because
I wanted to be surprised. But I saw that they have several videos chronicling the whole thing from start to finish.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I was listening to it while I worked on my game.
Oh, that's so amazing. So what I did do, and here's what I can do, because I didn't finish, but I am still, the voice you hear on this show. And one thing I did promise to do anyway, I'm going to go through each and every game and live stream it and do some playing and some, tongue-in-cheek feedback, which means obviously I'm not going to be overly harsh to people that have worked very hard to create games, but I will give, my own sassy commentary on whatever it is you guys have created and, try to at least bring a little attention to the great stuff that you guys did and maybe encourage some more people to check them out because it looks like there's some pretty intricate stuff out there.
I have to do it again.
I know. Well, here's the thing. Here's my thing. I refuse to do another game jam, and I haven't even talked to Bobby about this, but this is the way it is in my mind right now. I will not do another game jam until I finish this one. Period. So you all can do. I will not do another game jam until I finish this one. It's very important. I want to at least do it.
Finishing something is the hardest thing you can do.
It is.
Yeah. It's the last 10%. But I haven't even gotten to the last 10% yet, and so yeah. No.
I'm hoping maybe in about a month when things calm down a little bit, because honestly, if I could have. And you know what's funny? When Bobby and I were talking about this earlier, what should the date be? What should the date be? The original time I had suggested was Martin Luther King weekend, which is this next weekend, because then Monday was off work and I could have spent that day playing all the submissions. Well, now Alan and I are going to Seattle, so that wouldn't have worked either. But if I could have gotten 2 more weeks somehow out of that, I could have finished. So my personal goal is to try and finish it in 2 weeks. That's my goal. Because that obviously it won't happen this next weekend with Seattle and everything. But now that things at work have calmed down significantly, I'm hoping in that next week I can finish it because it's supposed to be a simple concept. So we'll see. There it is. All right. Let's see. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Let's see. Pushy Pixels in chat says, that's not a great idea. You should do all the jams and make Pong first. It helps. No, I know, and I don't want to sound like I'm just saying for me personally, I feel awfully stupid endorsing this whole thing when I couldn't even finish myself. But I still feel like I accomplished something. I came out ahead, but it wasn't as much as I would have wanted to do. But I got a paycheck that keeps the show going. That's something that I accomplished. Anyway, and YYR in chat says the 80-20 rule, the last 20% of the game takes 80% of the effort. Isn't that the truth?
Damn, considering the two that I've worked on, the first few percentage, that's taken a lot of effort, so I can't imagine what the last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe it depends on the way you did it. Let's see. And some folks in chats, some more comments. Black Wolf says, I learned a lot about the new UI in 4.6, so that's good. And Pushy Pixel says, it's great you guys set this thing up, so thank you. I'm loving that there's more participation than I really would have expected. I honestly would have been blown away if we got 3 entries. I figured, okay, we'd probably have Bobby, YYR, and we'll have that fringe person I didn't know about that they'll actually end up submitting something. Like that's what I figured would be the participation in the game jam. But to see all these other people too, and including there's been people that have said, I listen to OLR and I've never really participated with the show, but I wanted to do this. That was totally unexpected, and that was
I wanted to impress everybody. So I was like, well, I can't just release this. Right? I got to do something cool.
See, that's the part where we get stuck. But I think
it is, because I went back.
I wasn't afraid to put out a shitty game. Because honestly, if I could have finished the game, that's important, and still is important. I want to finish, so that still is important to me. Just to say, I did it. I did this. I made this because believe me, my first idea was to just I'll just do something in ZZT. That's my comfort zone, or I'll make something silly in Commodore 64 Basic. That's my comfort zone. But then Unity seemed more and more like something I could actually do. So there's that. Anyway. I don't want to spend the whole show talking about coulda, woulda, shoulda. Let's focus on the positive. Is the fact that so many of these people participated. I'm going to play all these games in the coming week, and I'm excited to. There's a really diverse, from what I'm seeing in the screenshots and the titles and emails. A lot of people interpreted that buggy game in various ways. It seems like most people actually did games about bugs. But certainly it wasn't limited to that. We had like Bobby did a moon buggy type of game. I saw something about a Tetris submission. Again, I haven't played it yet, but there's some type of Tetris submission that's supposed to be buggy. So I'm looking at that. So lots of neat stuff that I can't wait to play. So, all right. Let's see. I would like to get into a couple other stories here. More to come on the jam in the coming weeks. We will not be here live next week, as I've mentioned a few times on the show, and there will actually be no show at all this next week because it's kind of our late holiday break. We were here through the holidays, but we're going to take a break next week because I'm going to Seattle. But in 2 weeks, we'll be back on the show, and I will give you all my impressions on all the games I played at that point. So we'll revisit this jam, at least here on OLR, in a couple weeks. I imagine Bobby will get around to playing everything. He's already played some of them, it sounds like. He'll probably talk about his impressions on Bobby Blackwolf's show next week when we're not here. So you have all that to look forward to. We are not done talking about the VOG Jam just yet. And I know there's going to be more late entries, too. It's not just me and Loki. I think YYR still wants to get involved there and so forth.
Yeah, go late jam.
The late jam. All right. Let's talk about this. This is another kickoff topic I wanted to get into tonight before we get into our gaming weeks and so forth. And this is that type of story that's been making the rounds on Facebook and Twitter and all that. Because I've seen a similar story like this about a dude who goes into a Burger King and there's some screaming kid in there that's screaming about wanting to have a pie. So what does he do? He buys all the pies so the little screaming disobedient child can't have any. I know I've seen that story on Facebook before, right? You guys all know that story I'm talking about? I know I've seen that.
Oh,
one.
yes.
Yes, right? So this is something similar that happened that has to do with gaming. And there is a Nintendo fan out there that I don't believe has a name. I think his name is Harry. That's it. Although, that's it. This bitter fan bought 100 Rosalina and Luma amiibo figures just so you couldn't. So he bought all these Rosalina and Luma amiibos in bulk so that way they would be off shelves and that you couldn't have them. The reason why, quote, I do not appreciate Rosalina appearing in almost every recent Mario game to date. The fact Nintendo promotes her so much and people praise her is just disgusting. I hate her fans too. I know for a fact her amiibo will be among one of the most popular, which is why I took the time to wait and pre-order over 100 of her. I do not want her fans to be happy. It just crushes me Nintendo from the good days went to this shit for character designs. By the way, this person who has spent $4,000 so far is going to be buying more figures such as Lucina, Palatina, Robin, and Zero Suit Samus are also on the
Why
list.
do I just have a feeling that this guy has some sort of like Nintendo sex dungeon that he's lined these all up on the walls for? I mean, because I seriously, yes, I hate them so much. I'll put them up on my walls.
And I happen to notice, just a casual observation, I don't know if y'all notice this too, I just happen to notice that all those characters this guy apparently has a hate boner for happen to be women. I don't know. Is that just a coincidence? That's just a coincidence, right? That can't, it can't be that this guy hates women in video games. Surely that can't be it. Right?
It pretty much stinks of misogyny.
Well, now here's another side of this, though, is this even real? I mean, because I'm of the mindset where I'm like, okay, it's cute and all that this is on Reddit and making the rounds, but I want to see the receipts. I want to see your box full of 100 Rosalina and Luma dolls that's not sitting in a GameStop box waiting to go on the shelf. I want to see,
know,
Or
where did
being
he
sold
order
on
them from?
eBay.
yeah, apparently Amazon or something like that. But
No.
I want to see in your hate dungeon, I want to see your 100 Rosalina. I want to see the receipts because I kind of don't buy this story.
Or
I don't.
see you burning them because, I can just see this guy buying a bunch of this stuff and flipping it.
Well, and the other thing is, what an idiot. I mean, not just for the reasons we've already talked about.
Buying
but,
100
gee, what a way to send a message to Nintendo that people just hate Rosalina by making sure she sells out. What a way to send that message
And
to Nintendo.
I'm sure those 100 figures that you
dumbass.
took off the shelves will be so hard to manufacture in a day
Yeah.
or two. I mean, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's not affecting anybody. If you bought all of them, then that would be affecting something. But you bought 100. That's nothing.
Yeah, there's still a whole bunch of Rosalina amiibos on Amazon right now.
That's like a few cases.
And yeah,
is
and
what it is.
YYR says, and is absolutely right, 100 units is barely a blip on the radar. So I think this thing really just kind of spread around because there's a lot of us kind of looking at this going, what a dummy, if it's even real. And again, I'm just questioning,
He's
I don't
just
think it's
creating
real.
an all-female amiibo fight club is what he's doing. He's training them all. He's going to have them fight against each other.
Like actually train them in Super Smash Brothers?
Yes, they're all going to fight each other. And
Which, by the way, isn't now. I don't profess to be a Smash Brothers expert, but my understanding is Rosalina's like top tier, right? Isn't Rosalina like a top tier Smash Brothers character right now? Like she's kind of really good in the game. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. ActDeft in chat says that's why I don't want to talk about this guy. He probably wants attention and he's getting it. Well, here's the nice thing. I haven't said his name. That name I did say was an alias that some of these websites have come up with. So I don't know what this guy's name is, nor do I care to know, and spread it around on the show. And I think what he'll probably will do, look out for this, is that if he really did order 100 of these, if he did, watch for the eBay posting. Buy the Rosalina doll that the dude with the hate boner had. Look, what he'll try to. Isn't that the capitalist way to do it? He'll try to spin it and sell those things for a profit because that market is still out there
it's
for
just
amiibos.
like the people that my son is grounded, so I'm selling his Guitar Hero
Yes.
controller, and it sells for like $500. It's like something that's worth $10, selling for like $500.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we can all agree that this guy is a bit of a moron, and unless now if the goal out of this was to create a fake story that would go viral, then congrats, you won, because here is the entire internet sharing it on Facebook and talking about it. So if that was the goal, then good job. But I have a feeling there's probably like half a hint of truth to it. I think somebody out there really does have the hate boner for all these female characters, which you probably need to have examined for a completely different reason related to buying all the amiibo. But I don't believe that all the amiibo have been purchased. Just because they've been pre-ordered as well doesn't mean they've been purchased. So just throwing it out there. But if you show me all the dolls lined up in your hate basement, then I guess we can have a conversation. Come on the show and let's talk about it. Let's talk about your many issues if you'd like. All right. Anyhow, let's get into our gaming weeks, the types of video games we have been playing this week. Let's go around the room and check in. Dark Sakura, what have you been playing this week?
Little Borderlands. I've been playing Fractal. I actually got back in Final Fantasy 14. and a little bit of Dragon Age. Actually, I forced myself to play it when I had a raging headache, just because I hadn't played it in a few days. I'm still putting off the heartbreaking step on my heart, rip it out, throw it across a cow field full of shit part of the game. Because
no spoilers.
Because of my romance option.
Although I can kind of piece it together what's happening here. It's kind of obvious, but anyway.
Well, are you going to romance him?
Probably not.
Okay, then.
Some of the listeners might be, though.
Well, trust me, it's.
I would think anyone that has that much care over it's probably already played through the game. But that's my thought. But anyway, so there you go. Loki, how about you? How was your gaming week?
Really, all I played is just a little bit of Lego Marvel Superheroes, just because my son wants me to play with them. Although the last few days while he's been playing, I've been sleeping on the couch trying to catch up on some of my sleep. But I did get a little bit of it in, and I managed to get him to play a level so I could finally 100% that level. But I'll just have to play it when he goes to bed so I can, because I'm at 75% of complete with the game, so I'll just platinum it. It's super easy, and then we'll be done with that. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I'll be done with it. And then I was just working on my Game Jam stuff.
Yeah. All right. My gaming week was a little slow this week. Obviously, if I didn't have time to work on the project, I didn't really have a lot of time to play games either, so that really ended up being the case. I haven't played any... There's one new game that I played this week, and it's not really even a new game. So what I will mention is that, and some of you have probably seen this by now, but Wednesday night after Horde House, I finally gave in to all the people that are like, Rob, when are you going to fucking play Five Nights at Freddy's and do the live stream? So Shane came over, and it took us like 30 minutes just to set up my other studio. I have this studio here, N7, then I have the satellite studio that I actually do all my computer gaming in and live streaming, and I set that all up for the external sound, which was harder to do than you'd think because I had to get it to be a decent volume. So finally, after 30 minutes of setting that up, we were able to play a little bit of Five Nights at Freddy's. So I finally played that game for the first time, and it's all chronicled on YouTube, over on my YouTube channel, Rob Roberts Plays. And did the game scare me? Yep. I got tricked into a couple jump scares. That frickin' Chica or whatever her name is got me twice during the live stream. And what a silly game. But I gotta say, an extraordinarily, this goes back to, to bring it full circle with the Game Jam. What an extraordinarily simple concept, really. Watching these security cameras and making sure that the monsters don't really get closer to your room where you're gonna get eaten if they get to you and you don't shut the door or whatever in time. The one thing I never really truly understood about the game was, what's the point of the cameras? Because you just want to make sure they don't get in the doors. So couldn't you just sit there the entire time and just check the lights, and then finally, if you see somebody in the room, like about to come in the room, just shut the door? Like, I never really understood what the advantage is to cycling through the different cameras. You don't really seem to slow them down or anything by doing that.
I don't think they can move when the camera's on them, maybe?
Yeah, but considering there's more than one, there's always at least one person that should be moving, so why not always check the doors? Now, I think there's something to do specifically with the Fox character, where starting on night 3, he will run into your room, and you may not have time to see him if you don't check the camera. But one guy, and this is always interesting depending on what game I stream. I sometimes get people that have no idea, of the podcast I do or who I am, just people that like to watch streams of people playing the game. And one guy came into the room and was like, yeah, all I ever do is I check Pirates Cove, which is where Foxy hides out. I go Cove, light, and just repeat. That was my strategy, and that's how I get all the way to like the end of night 5. And I'm like, well, that kind of makes the game a little silly at that point, doesn't it? Like, it kind of takes all the point out of it. So I just feel like, and I'm sure the chat room is yelling at me here, so I'm going to go to them in a minute here over at live.vognetwork.com. It just seems to me that, like, there's something wrong with the balance of the game if it's that easy. But I don't know. But I will say this. Then Shane was trying to explain to me, oh, there's all this lore behind the game, and you got to go watch these game theory YouTubes about how it's all a parallel to this guy that killed all these people at a Chuck E. Cheese, and then it leads into the second game, and you find out all this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, people really read a lot into this game, but it does seem like the designer has left little hints in the game. Like that game theory thing I watched does make an awful lot of sense, even if they backtrack on a lot of it when they talk about the second game. But anyway, I did think it was very interesting. Going to the chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. VidPower says, Foxy will run at you full speed if you don't check on the cameras on him. ActDef says, and Foxy is a must to watch for the camera. ActDef says, that's my strategy, although I do check the door cams just in case. And the lore is actually quite fascinating. Kaijudo says, if you use too much power, you are fucked, so you need to check the cams to make sure you use power when they're close. Okay, but didn't the cams use power too? I thought, or can you just unlimited use the camera? The cameras don't really use any power. If that's the case, then that makes a little more sense. And I thought that might have been it. And Alan Alchemy in chat says, these are probably things they fixed in part 2 and 3. My understanding is that the mechanic is totally different in part 2, that there is no door, that there's just the front that they can like jump, but you put a mask on instead. Like they totally changed it in 2, and I'm sure they'll change some of the basic stuff in 3 as well. Because 2 is supposed
to be a prequel, so.
Yeah, well, but again, that's never really explicitly stated.
Yeah, it is.
That's just the whole game theory stuff.
No, it's the data in the check. Remember, they even said that in game theory.
Oh, all right.
Your paycheck's a different date.
So that's only if you beat it that you really find that out, that it's a prequel. There's that. All right. And then ActF says, no, cams do drain the energy. So that was the cams don't drain the energy? I thought, all right, anyway.
Well, we just shut down some of the cameras and, put the energy. How about we just shut down all the cameras, put all the energy into the doors, and done?
So, you know what? I will say this much. As much as it sounds like I'm talking negative about the game, I'm really not. I'm just biased because I don't really like the jump scare stuff because I'm such a baby. But I will say this. Massive kudos to the developer because, as I understand, it's just one guy with a pretty crazy simple concept that I'm sure is making buku bucks. This thing, well, maybe not a ton, but still, it's always like number one on the iOS store for iPad and all that stuff. I know he's doing well there, and I see a ton of Let's Plays on this on Steam and stuff. He's got to be doing well with this game with what is a pretty simple idea fleshed out. So good for him. Good for him. And people...
It'll be 100% better of whatever Miyamoto's coming up with his Project Watch. I'm telling you, it's like one dude making this game. I can tell it's going to be way better than watching Rob the Robot storm something. I don't know. No. Rob the Robot could be really creepy. In a Five Nights at Freddy game.
You never know. All right, so you think that's what something Miyamoto's working on is a Five Nights at Freddy ripoff? Because I'm sure those are all incoming.
Lame. It's just gonna be
just like the Minecraft ripoffs. Now that Five Nights at Freddy's is number one on the iOS store, I'm sure it's just a matter of time if it's not already happening before all the poorly made knockoffs start flowing in. 3 nights at Thelma's, I'm sure all these freaking knockoffs are just about to happen.
3 Thursdays at Thelma's.
All right.
5 Tuesdays with Maurice.
Well, that's kind of dark. All right. Let's get into, now that we're done with our gaming week, some quick housekeeping. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/orangeloungeradio. We're also on Twitter, twitter.com/OLR. And as a reminder, there is no show at all next week, January 18th. We are taking the week off, a late holiday break, but a happy Martin Luther King Observance Day to those of you in the States, because we'll be missing that, and maybe see some of you in Seattle. I don't know how many listeners we have up there, but if any are up there, I will be in your neighborhood. Yes, even when it's not PAX. But I love Seattle. I've been there a few times. We all went to Seattle. That was the one road trip we all took together, although it was really a fly trip. But
there was a limo involved.
That's right. It was a limo involved. But that was
That
a
was
good
our
time.
diva trip to PAX.
That was a really fun time, though. That wasn't just us. That was when we were with the All Games Network, and there was really kind of a convergence of all those indie podcasters there at PAX. Bobby was involved too, and a lot of other people with the network. That was a lot of fun. So we had some great Seattle memories of that. And then I went 5 years ago, just funny enough, with Grandpa from Horde House, and this was long before his persona on that show was established and any of that, before he was a podcaster and all that. We went to Seattle together and had a great old time. So I'm looking forward to going back and going to all the tourist traps and all the fun stuff. But I'm going to tell you what, that football game better not get in the damn way, because that's something I realized last night is, oh shit, the Seahawks are in the playoffs now, which I'm happy for them and everything, but it's going to make the town crazy on Saturday. No, thank you. No, thank you. All right, so no show. We will be back with a show 2 weeks from tonight on January 25th. Hopefully, for those of you that have a little podcast void next week, hope you will fill the time with some other hardworking indie podcasters out there, of which there are lots and lots and lots of hardworking folks out there that will have shows for you next week. So check them out. All right, let's get into some gaming news and what has been going on in the industry this week. Not as busy of a week as we were expecting coming off of the holiday, but still a few big stories here and there nonetheless, starting with Loki.
Yes. So PlayStation Now is starting up a subscription program, which is kind of cool. I mean, since the pricing of it was really ridiculous in the first place. Although it is a little bit on the pricey side, so don't give up your membership to GameFly anytime soon. But apparently, you can choose from some different subscription plans, including 1 month for $19.99 or 3 months for $14.99, which ends up being about $15 a month. And with that, you get basically unlimited streaming for all the games that are on the service. So I think they have about 100 right now. And
so it's all of them, not just select games. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, it's all of them. All you can play. It's cool, I guess, if you really can dedicate a lot of time to get your money's worth out of it. But yeah. I think, it sounds like a great deal, but how much are you really going to be playing each month?
Yeah.
For $15 a month, that's pretty expensive. I don't know. Just imagine spending that on Steam games. You'd probably get a lot further with your money. I don't know. I'm of a couple mindsets about this. I actually think this is the feature a lot of people have been asking for. I think some people were hoping it was cheaper.
Yeah, I think some people are struggling with the price, so you really have to kind of ask, is it a fair price? And I have a hard time hating on the price, honestly. Games are always going to be a little more expensive than movies, so that's why it's about twice the cost of Netflix, isn't it? Not even that though, twice the cost. I'm kind of okay with that, because yes, there's a place for GameFly too. GameFly can do more things because and comparable services. I loop them all into that.
Here's my thing,
but hold on, the immediacy of what this is going to be able to provide is that you will not have to wait. If you want to play any game in this virtual library right now, you're going to be able to do that. And that's hard to hate. I do think there's a lot of value with that. The fact that, okay, yeah, you're paying for this, but that's going to be a couple, 150 games or whatever it is, like right now, whenever you want. The only thing that's a little bit of a negative is it's not, it's 150 games, of which maybe 10 are good and 140 are filler.
Well,
that's a little more of the concerning part.
Here's the only, one positive I see is that, one, you can play that on your PlayStation 4. So a lot of these, you can't play PlayStation 3 games on your PlayStation 4, so it gives you that. But just looking at the titles that they have on there, a lot of these I already have in my PlayStation Plus library. So if you have a PlayStation 3, it's kind of like, why do you need this? Because, PlayStation Plus, if you've had it for a while and have gotten these games, like I know Infamous I got from the whole PlayStation Network deal. Red Faction Collection I've had. God, those games have been so cheap. Darksiders I've gotten before. Saints Row 2, Bioshock Infinite. There's a ton of these games I already have, so it wouldn't make any sense for me to kind of do this service. And I think if you boil it down to what you want to actually play, you can probably go buy these games cheaper. You won't get hundreds of games, but you can probably go out there and buy these games used for a lot cheaper than paying $15 a month. You get a game a month or something, or a couple of games a month.
Now, Bobby's being very adamant in chat and is showing the receipts here by linking to this list here from the PlayStation forums about how it is not everything that's on the service now. There is a distinctive list between what you can rent and what is actually included when you subscribe to all games. Such as, for example, I noticed, I'm just looking at the list real quick, Final Fantasy 13 is on both lists, but 13-2 is not included in the subscription list. So there's that. I mean, there are some games that are missing. So now that further refines the question, I think, to, is the $15 a month or whatever worth it for these specific games? And you really have to kind of look at that list of what's available and say, do I want to be able to play these all for a month for $15?
And here's the other thing that's about that too is if you notice, like
whatever it is. Sorry, maybe not 50. What was the amount again? 18?
It was $19.99 a month.
Okay, thank you.
Or
$20.
$44.99 for 3 months.
Okay, then is this worth $20 for a month?
I just think it's not, just because of the amount of first off, the amount of stuff that they've already given away for free on PlayStation Plus. So if you're like me and you just grab everything regardless of, because I had a Vita at one time, I still grab stuff for the Vita because someday I may get a Vita again. I just want to have that stuff in my library. So I've got a ton of these between this and my Xbox, games with gold stuff, and with my Steam library, which has got most of these games already. There's not much for me to play on this. And on top of that, I don't know. I just don't see it being worthwhile to pay that kind of fee. I did notice that there are no EA games on that list because those are part of that, EA package thing that you pay $30 a year. And
sure.
Hey, $30 a year doesn't sound so bad now when you compare it to $19.99 a month.
Well, but again, it's what games? Because I'm sure the EA list is much more.
Is you should look at what.
And
games
if you're not a sports game fan, that's even less.
True. I would just look at what games you want to play and what games they're offering. And honestly, you might be better off just saying, okay, hey, if there's only like a handful of games you want to play, go buy them. Yeah. I mean, because you might end up or rent them.
Here's the thing, though, is that, as well, and I'm trying to kind of remain a little bit hopeful about this, is that, okay, maybe that's the way this looks now. But surely Sony plans to add to this. And we know that PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1, these are things that Sony wants to be able to offer on PlayStation Now. It's things they've talked about being available on PlayStation Now that we haven't seen yet.
I want to see.
So I imagine in the next year, this will be further enhanced with PS1 and PS2 games, which would be great.
That's cool.
Especially if there's trophy support.
That's cool and all, but what I would like to see is just my fucking games that I have in my library being able to be streamed over PlayStation Now, because I see Saints Row 4 on there. I see Saints Row 2. I see, Darksiders.
And these are games you bought digitally.
These are games that I have. Well, I didn't buy them, but they're games that they gave to me, digitally. So,
right.
Saints Row the Third, or just all these different games on here. I would love to be able to play those on my PlayStation 4 instead of having to, break out the PlayStation 3 to play these games. Since you obviously can stream that. And it's obviously tied to the PlayStation Network, so don't tell me you can't tell that, I'm sorry, our systems don't talk to each other. We can't figure out what you purchased.
I would like to see some of that. That would be great. But I do also think that, if you look at something like Netflix, where all the license and rights semantics aside, because I know Netflix used to have more on it that they don't have because it's like an EA thing, right? Where they wanted to go off and make their own thing. But Netflix has now been enhanced with things like Orange is the New Black and kind of their own programming. So I'm curious to see what Sony's going to enhance this with in the future. Maybe right now this doesn't look like the most attractive deal, although again I suppose it depends on what sort of PS3 games you're into. I don't know. I have to admit, for $20, being able to play it on demand, there is a lot in this list I think I could probably get $20 worth out of, at least for 1 month. Would I do a continuing thing? Not right now, but I'd be very curious to see what Sony might do month to month to make people that jump on early on want to stay subscribed. And that could even be things like exclusives. I wouldn't shut the door on the fact that Sony might offer something exclusive to folks on PlayStation Now that maybe you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
That could be the PlayStation 1 and 2 games. because right now they're not selling 1 and 2 games on the PlayStation 4, save not even Vib Ribbon's on 4 yet. You had to buy that on 3. So it'll be interesting.
I don't know. I'm not jumping into this yet because, like I said, I've got my Steam library, and
Right.
I've got libraries. They're starting to get to the size of Steam on the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live Marketplace. So I just don't need extra games.
YYR in chat says, I think it's most worth it to people that never owned a PS3 or an Xbox 360. It's worth noting that many of the subscription games are not PlayStation 3 exclusives. He brings up a good point. There are a lot of people that kind of skipped the last generation or owned a Nintendo Wii in their household who might be PS4 owners now. So it's an interesting point. Could be a catch-up type of thing. Brad from Pod Culture says, make it $15 a month, include Plus as a part of it, and I would be sold. More like an Amazon Prime model. I don't think Sony would put it that low. I suppose anything's possible, but I like that idea of one package for both, and surely Sony's got to be thinking it too. Like, what about a PlayStation Plus Plus? What would you call that? PlayStation Plus Gold or PlayStation Plus Platinum, something like that, where maybe you have a Plus account that's further enhanced with this, that's a package deal. I'm sure that's something they got to be thinking. I just don't think it's ever going to get that low. But I mean, it'd be great if it could. I'm just being realistic.
You know, they know what get me. They maybe get in on that. Is, they do their own version of like Game Room.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Bad memories. Bad memories. I'm so upset. All right. Anyhow. So there you go.
What if Nintendo did that with all their virtual console games?
Oh my God, oh my God, they're sitting on a gold mine. They could totally do that. But then again, Nintendo's making pretty good money just selling piecemeal right now.
Well, yeah, they're selling ROMs for $5 a piece.
People aren't demanding the people aren't demanding it from Nintendo the same way they have been of Sony.
Shit they used to give away.
They do a little bit. I'm not saying people don't demand that from Nintendo, but Nintendo also doesn't have the streaming thing. That's the big difference. PlayStation's now doing the streaming thing and is selling these individual stream games, and so people, you know, because we all know Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and all that stuff, people think, well, I'm used to paying one fee to access all that. Why is PlayStation using a different model? So I think that's how Nintendo's been able to avoid it a little bit. If Nintendo gets into streaming,
Nintendo can stream a virtual console game that's like a few megs. I mean, like on any internet, even like crappy DSL, it's just like, okay, let's buffer that. Done. Game's downloaded. I'm
actually not disagreeing with you, but I also feel like there's more that Nintendo could do to Virtual Console that they're not doing, such as internet play. I still do not, because those are such low, little itty bitty ROMs. I don't know why this is not a thing, and I've said this on the show before. Why don't you have games that are two-player games that you can play against each other? Like, I don't know, what are some big NES classics that were like head-to-head? Like the original Mario Brothers even, right? It was kind of a head-to-head game, right?
You can Excite Bike maybe.
Why can't you have that where you're playing it on the TV and on the gamepad you can see video of the person you're playing against? How
privacy.
Okay, but make it make it, if you're playing with strangers, it's an avatar, and if you're playing with friends, it's video. Done.
No.
Why not?
I wouldn't want to be on video.
Who cares? Then fine.
Then shut it off. Make it optional. That means that you don't have to stream video, but you can.
It's probably because they don't have a way to they don't have a very good system as far as being able to play with friends on things. I mean, Mario Kart, they have it. It seemed like, for me, at least on the Wii, because I don't have a Wii U, that it was very much like each game kind of handled that differently as far as being able to play with your friends. So maybe they just don't have a good system, or they don't have a system in place for that. I mean, I don't think you can start up like a party like you can on PlayStation or Xbox. Start up a party with people, and they're okay. We're gonna launch, this game. We're gonna launch, Mario Kart or something, and it boots into that with everybody joining the game and, all playing together.
YYR in chat says, "Don't worry, Nintendo will catch up to Xbox 360, PS3 as far as network features by the time the next generation of consoles is released." I look forward to it. YYR also says, "Hey kid, send me a friend code if you want to see my dick." I guess there's that. But, I mean, at some point you have to put the onus for that not on the company but on the predator. And I understand that Nintendo had some issues with that, and that's why they shut off PictoChat. But at the same time, how hard is it, hey kid, let me get your cell phone number and I'll text you pictures of my dick. Or hey kid, how about your Skype name? And we can look at dicks.
PictoChat, they have to draw pictures of their dick. So it was a little bit more difficult.
Well, you could actually send pictures in PictoChat, remember? Because I always used to send pictures of the cat.
That wasn't PictoChat. That was the other one, Swap.
Oh, Swap. Oh, sorry, Swap. I got him confused. Swap Note was the thing they disabled. That was the thing I missed. Swap Note was awesome, and I sent 3D pictures of the cat all the time to my friends list.
See,
Can't
that's
do that
the
anymore.
thing, though. It's like PictoChat. That was a brilliant idea for the DS.
Everybody at Expos
this
I went
moment
to
of brilliance, and then it's like they don't ever do anything with it. It's just like, hey, this is a really great idea. Cool. Keep having those.
I know.
Come on. Just don't stop now.
I know.
Hey,
but my point is that why Nintendo? I understand Nintendo's really, really, really overcautious about their image in the media, and they don't want the media reporting on these things about all these dicks we're seeing on a child's 3DS in the Swap Note application. But it's like, well, check the kid's phone. It's probably there too. Check the kid's email. Unfortunately, we need to focus on getting this act of predators doing this to children to stop. You know what I mean? They're going to find a way to do it no matter what, it's going to be cell phones or Nintendo. It's just,
maybe just
not the core issue.
Maybe people would stop supporting sensationalized, news reporting.
There is that too. Anyhow. All right, let's move on. We got to talk about some other things. And this is actually some pretty big news from Nintendo this week. By the way, speaking of things Nintendo swore up and down they would never do, and now we're seeing them dip their toe in the water with this, kinda. This was some very surprising, very big news that came out this week, and you might have missed it because it has to do with cell phone gaming. So you might have just glossed it over and not paid it any attention. But I'm telling you, this is huge. There's a game series out there you may or may not have played. It's available on iPhones and Androids and all that. It's called Puzzle and Dragons. I think this game's awful. I've tried playing it. I think it's stupid. I think there's far better games out there on the mobile phones. I would rather play Trivia Crack, honestly, which is also kind of stupid. But, that is a game I've also been playing this week, by the way. A lot of Trivia Crack. But it's a good micro game. It's a good game you can play for 5 seconds, then move on, right? I'm not a big fan of Puzzle and Dragons, but I can't deny this game is huge. It's kind of like Bejeweled meets Pokemon. I'm really oversimplifying it, but that's kind of what it is. And this game series...
Sounds terrible.
This game series is... and it is. I don't like it at all, but other people do. And this game series is really big in Japan. Apparently, this, in some of the Asian regions, it's even bigger than it is here. It's a huge deal. And Gung Ho is the company that actually creates this game. Well, Gung Ho has actually announced that there is going to be a Super Mario edition of Puzzle and Dragons. It's going to be on the 3DS in Japan this April. But it's still I still think there's something very interesting here where you've got Nintendo partnering up with a company that is most well known for cell phone gaming. Granted, it's being made for the 3DS, but it's like I said, it's the big toe.
But they did something similar though with it wasn't that, it was the oh god, the fuck it's called. It was a Square Enix, almost like a Mario party type game, but they teamed up with them to do a version of that with Mario.
Now, as far as an American release, even though in the original announcement, Gung Ho America said it would be happening through Nintendo, a Nintendo spokesperson told another outlet that Puzzle & Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition is a Japanese-only announcement. So right now, the America release of this is still in flux.
Yeah, until they announce it at E3.
Right. The Match 3 game has local multiplayer and Street Pass functionality. By the way, the original mobile Puzzle and Dragons has 6 million downloads in North America. Wow, that's a lot.
Is it because it's free?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm one of those.
Oh my god, there's 6 million downloads of a free game. That's unheard of. Wait.
I'm one of those downloads, and I deleted it a long time ago.
It's yeah, I mean, of course, there's no way to lose in that scenario. I mean, you try it and you hate it, then you delete it. I mean, that's not that impressive.
Now, there has been a Puzzle & Dragons already released for 3DS, this Puzzle & Dragons Z that had 1.5 million units sold in Japan. That's still pretty good. This is the first time that they're involving the Mario stuff. Just to say, ActDeft is saying Fortune Street is the game you're trying to think of.
Yes, that was the game I was thinking of, Fortune Street.
And Rama says Puzzle & Dragons is pretty fun. They actually have a DC Comics version of that game. I guess that makes sense because Marvel has the Puzzle Quest thing, so it's DC lined up with somebody else. Very interesting. So we will see. Also, of note, apparently Nintendo's stock the investors really liked this news. The stock went way, way, way up at the end of the week this week after that announcement came up.
But they're not making a mobile game. They're putting a mobile game onto the 3DS. That's dumb.
I think
that's like putting Angry Birds on the 3DS.
I think because people are looking at this going, Nintendo's partnering with a mobile phone company.
But
if this game's
not
successful, could the reverse happen?
They're not, and they won't, because there's been several mobile games that have been popular that have come to the 3DS, and that's it. People will buy it because it has Mario in it. That's it. I mean, just like Angry Birds, still okay. Doodle Jump, kind of, but it's not news. If they were gonna put out that version on mobile, that would be a big story. This is just kind of like, whatever.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if that happens later on. I don't think it's outside the realm of all possibility, and I think that's why investors are really taking to this news, is that if Gung Ho is going to be spending the time making this game, that perhaps it will be something on mobile devices. And that could be huge. Huge. Because all we have Nintendo-wise on mobile devices right now is what? A Pokédex? Which the Pokemon company is a second party, so it's a little different. It's not.
They won't, because it's going to cheapen their brand if they put it out as a free-to-play game. That's the way they see it as.
All right, well, we will see what develops. I still think this is a pretty big news, all things considered. Darsakar, what do you have for us?
Well, I've been a little bit lax in some of my UK news as of late, so I do have something for our folks overseas. The BBC is actually looking for developer studios to do video games based on some of its more popular series. They are visiting London Mobile Games, a London Mobile Games event later on in this month to look for developers. They want to do things for Doctor Who and Sherlock. They also are wanting to look into some of the past and future IPs as well. They're going to be doing 2 breakfast sessions on Tuesday, January 20th, and Wednesday, January 21st, both between 9 to 10 a.m. And they're informal. They just want to meet people, and it's going to be held at BBC Worldwide at 33 Foley Street, London. So if any of our developer friends happen to be over there, let us know how that goes. We want to know.
I have something else for our British fans, too.
What?
I need you all to vote for Michelle Visage to win Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh, my... Rob.
No, this is very important. I need you all to vote for Michelle Visage. And I know y'all don't like Katie Hopkins, and I completely understand why. But if she's the only one that's going to put that little celebrity blogger, I won't even say his name because it offends me. If she's the only one that will put that guy in his place, then I think you should keep her around too, as disgusting as a lot of the stuff is that she says outside the house. But at the end of the day, Michelle Visage should win. Just a very important note. Like this is a life or death scenario that I need our British listeners to get involved with. What?
Rob.
What? What? Oh! You can all wank about Doctor Who and Sherlock and the potential games, but heaven forbid I bring up the British show I like and
no. I was like, I want them to do a Top Gear racing game, but with like all of the commentary done by Jeremy What's-His-Face, because he's so dry and funny. He'd like make comments like, just how badly people drift and stuff. I just want nothing but a game of him shitting on the player.
Top Gear was a racing game. I used to love that game. It was on the Super Nintendo.
Then, of course, we talk about British narrators, and my mind it goes instantly to Stephen Fry, who is also in the news this last week. I'm sure you saw a little bit about that. That was interesting, although I don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, but whatever. Anyway, sorry, Jamie. I took your very legitimate game developed story and turned it into gossip, but, it happens. Let's move on with some more news, Loki.
So apparently the avatars on Xbox are going to be getting a makeover. They're possibly going to be coming back, I guess, to the Xbox One. And I don't know exactly. I guess they're going to show it off as part of like Windows 10 maybe. And cool, I guess. I have my 3D printed avatar, so now that's not going to be accurate anymore. And
Oh, no.
I don't know what I think about that. And also, you know what? I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to look, because remember, I think they kind of showed something similar with, was it Mass Effect 3? Like all the Mass Effect games got better and better, but sometimes your character looked weirder and weirder as it like enhanced it. If you know what I mean, because it's not.
She's the one to ask about those mods and things like that.
Well,
No,
not
that's
talking about
pretty
mods, but,
accurate.
like just like some of them I've seen, like hey, wait, I used to be a different skin color before.
Oh, like how it would import.
Or look how big her eyes are.
Oh yeah, the imports of your character from 1 into 2 were always awful, and it's like my character looked great in 1, and then when I imported him into 2, it was like, why is he so surprised?
And then
Why
3
is-
was like completely different for a lot of the stuff because they changed the they added more vertices in the facial structure.
I follow you now. Yeah, the import from game to game was horrible. You were better off just recreating Shepard the way you wanted him or her to look in each game.
And I gotta be honest.
You know what?
They're trying to make avatars a thing, but
important and relevant. I'm so sorry. Sorry to interrupt. Important and relevant. The same thing is happening in World of Warcraft. Okay, because they took all the old characters, right, and they took like dwarves and humans and gave them new models, right? Okay, I can tell you, my character when they did that looks awful. Like I hate the way she looks now.
I have to see if my character's any different.
Ugh. So that's the one downside to these upgrades, is that they're usually downgrades in high definition.
yeah.
Anyway,
So
sorry,
basically,
Loki.
they're saying that they're going to ensure that avatars are not only gorgeous but also but highly performant across a wide scale of devices, and work with designers, animators, and artists, and blah blah blah. To be honest, any of the avatar kind of features I've seen, they didn't do a whole ton of the avatar stuff with the actual mainstream games. I saw a lot of the stuff that supported avatars coming out of like the Xbox indie games.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
And a lot of that seemed to be a little bit more interesting than, say, the official stuff.
Yes, like the baby launching game that was on. Wasn't it your avatar that was giving birth or something like that, or were you the baby? I don't remember. I seem to remember avatars were in that baby launching game that was on the 360.
But that's awesome, though.
Which,
See?
next to bungee ferret tossing, is an all-time great on the Xbox Live indie games.
There's lots of great indie games, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. I guess it's cool that they're coming back, but it's just it didn't really take off like the Mii's did. And even the Mii's are kind of stupid. Like, they should really upgrade those.
But the Mii's are still around, and they're very much used in a lot of the Nintendo games.
But yeah,
they're fighters in Smash Brothers Melee.
I understand that.
Or Smash Brothers for Wii U.
I understand that, and I would love to see an enhanced version, especially the ones where people make like designs out of the parts to make different things on their faces and things, drawing penises and that kind of stuff, and then just having it try to translate that into something more realistic would be hilarious.
All right. Well, speaking of Nintendo and games that will probably incorporate the Mii's one way or another, Star Fox for Wii U is a thing, and they are saying it will be playable at E3 2015, which I extract from that means it won't be out any sooner in Japan or the US. So those hoping for a spring release for Star Fox, looks like it's going to be more like holiday. Now, Miyamoto didn't talk a lot about what, Star Fox outside anything that was already said at the last E3 and in between there. But it will utilize both the Wii U gamepad and the TV. I would think that Wii U gamepad would be like a radar. Would make sense. I don't know. I don't know. Again, we'll see.
They're going to fly with tilt controls.
We'll see. Now, Miyamoto was also asked, when will we get a new F-Zero game? First off, thank you, somebody, for confronting him and asking him. I appreciate that.
To which he punched him in the face and flipped him off.
No, that's not what happened. What happened, Miyamoto said, they need to find the right controller interface for the game.
Why? Does your controller have buttons? Yes. Does your controller have a joystick? Yes. You have the right interface for F-Zero.
Yeah. Considering Mario Kart 8 was not just, if you've been listening to OLR, Mario Kart 8 was not only my favorite Wii U game last year, it was my favorite game, period, last year. So I have a hard time understanding why a driving game like F-Zero could not be done on the Wii U.
Wow, that's a whole ton of, that's like a big, heaping snow shovel full of bullshit right there.
I agree. Look, I love Miyamoto,
seriously,
but that's a bullshit answer.
This is why I need to interview these people. Remember when I was talking to Jay, so what do you think about In the Groove? That kind of stuff. So are you going to make a new F-Zero? Well, we need to find the right controller. I'd be like, I'm sorry.
What's
that
wrong with the
doesn't make
controller
any
you
fucking
got?
sense. When you spend all this money on your controller, it has
and
a
you wonder
fucking
why you don't
screen.
get asked to do interviews
It's like,
with Miyamoto.
what about, your controller has buttons. What else do you want in there? Do you need a pedal so I can cycle my car around?
I have two mindsets of this. One, that answer I don't accept because aren't they selling F-Zero on Virtual Console like the original? So there is an F-Zero game on Wii U. Now, I understand you probably want to argue with me. Well, it's different in the controls because it's just emulated. Okay, yeah, I get that. But an F-Zero game exists on the Wii U, so you can't say it can't be done. But here's the other thing I have with that, and that I think is the real answer. I think, because obviously there is a successor to the Wii U being worked on right now, and I'm not even talking about some of those other articles that have been around the internet this week and all that stuff. It's just not only is Sony and Microsoft planning what's next, obviously Nintendo's planning what's next as well. We all know that. So maybe something to do with controls, which certainly the same thing could be said about the Wii and the Wii U, but maybe there's something else that Nintendo has in store for their next console that they're going to come out and have F-Zero as a launch title or as close to it, that, oh, this was the better controls suited for F-Zero that Miyamoto was talking about.
Unless it's VR, I don't give a fuck what the hell he's talking about. There's literally, unless part of the console is going to be that fucking cabinet that swivels around, I just don't care. It doesn't make any sense that, oh, well, I'm sorry, we just don't have the right control scheme for that. That makes no sense. No. I'm sorry. I just don't buy that for a second.
YYR in chat with all caps says, the Wii U gamepad literally has every control method ever conceived for use in a video game. That is why I think what I just said there, the second half of that, I think that's what it is. I think that there's not going to be an F-Zero on the Wii U because they're already planning it for the successor console, which to be fair, if the next Nintendo console is going to be equivalent of the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and perhaps even a small step above in power, I think blow your panties off F-Zero HD neon flashy high-speed game could be awesome.
I think Deft has the right idea here. Power Glove 2.0.
And maybe that's just it. Maybe that's it. Power Glove 2.0. That's what it is. You're gonna grab that fake steering wheel, and it's so bad. All right, well, we'll see. All right, moving on. Dark Sakura.
Well,
how would you control your racer in F-Zero, Dark Sakura? What is
telepathy?
Maybe that's the new Nintendo's console. You're gonna control it with your mind.
I think things, and they happen.
I would,
I am a biotic god.
Honestly, I mean, I guess it was sort of like, I forget the game because I never actually played that one when I'd go to, was it the Virtual World? But they had the Mars racing game or whatever that was kind of like that. But I always played the BattleTech ones.
I kind of fear
like one of those would be cool.
I kind of fear Dark Sakura's telepathy F-Zero game though, because I just worry that people are going to walk in. It's going to be like, Rob, why whenever you play F-Zero is it just it's not even racing? The camera's just panning around Captain Falcon's butt the whole time.
That wouldn't be me. No. That wouldn't. I'm not the Captain Falcon fangirl.
You would walk in the house and be. I was thinking that too.
For me playing that game, it would actually be telling other people how awful they drive and to get off my road. That's Jamie F-Zero.
Coming to the Nintendo Wii U 2.
You need
Sakura's aggressive driver.
You need to play Grand Theft Auto 5. You can flip people off in the game. when you're driving
But
by.
I don't
He's
like the
"Fuck
Grand
you."
Theft Auto games.
You just haven't played the right one yet. All right, anyway.
You mean any of them?
Dark Sakura, sorry to derail you. Not sorry.
Bitch. Okay. Rob.
What?
Hearts. So 3D Afterburner 2 is going to be coming out on Nintendo 3DS. Yay. On January 15th. Yay. Thanks, Sega, for giving us a release date. It's in the second batch of 3D classics. Among others, we have 3D Fantasy Zone, 3D Outrun, 3D Fantasy Zone 2, and 3D Thunderblade, which means I will have these because Fantasy Zone. Fantasy Zone is the best Sega game ever.
I thought Space Harrier was the best Sega game ever.
What is my favorite 3 order of games?
The Guardian Legend, Space Harrier, Mass Effect, Garrus.
Fantasy Zone, and then Space Harrier.
I was gonna say
fine.
Final Fantasy 7. But,
No.
But only the scene where Aerith gets stabbed over and over again.
Did you see what got put on my Facebook? It
Yes.
was the Aerith sword sharpener.
Yes, I did.
I need one of those for real.
I did.
They just need to make those. I want someone to get like the little guy who is like the knife holder and have it be turned into Aerith.
So Dark Sakura talking about Afterburner. I have it. And this is how F-Zero can fit in the picture too. You ready? World exclusive here on Orange Lounge Radio. I have deduced, based on Miyamoto's comments and Dark Sakura's mouth, I have deduced, because she has telepathy powers, remember? I have deduced...
It's because I'm psycho and have ESPN.
I have deduced what it will be on the Wii U 2. You ready? You ready? It's going to be a chair. And the chair can go 360 degrees. Just like the Afterburner cabinets, right? Where you can flip upside down. And the F-Zero cabinets, which were badass. It's going to be a chair that'll flip you upside down and drop you on your ass.
Can we get like Peter?
That's the Wii U
Can we get
2.
like a long-winded, Peter Molyneux video where they're talking about, up until now we've never considered about the crucial aspect of playing video games.
Wait a minute.
Down.
Wait a minute. Where is he? Where is Peter Molyneux right now? Because somebody needs to check and make sure he's not at Nintendo headquarters. And if he's there, he needs to be removed.
He needs to be up against. He needs to be against a white backdrop because it's just like him talking with his name in the bottom there and just talking about how essential like the chair is. I don't know. It's gonna be something stupid. It's gonna be like we came up with this brand new controller. You take this little, it's a ball on a string and you swing it around to go faster and you move it. It's gonna be crap.
If Peter Molyneux is in a partnership with Nintendo, I will shut off the press conference because I ain't getting invited. So I will shut off the press conference when he walks on. Just shut it off. We're done.
I hope that they would do a new like Virtual Boy, but I don't know VR. But see, that's the one thing. It's like if you wait too long, people are just going to do it better.
All right, we'll see. All right, let's travel around the world and check out some release dates. Although I think, again, we're in a slow period of the year. There's probably not a lot to talk about. Let's check in anyway and see what will be released in a store near you soon.
Nothing.
Nothing in the U.S. this week.
Yeah,
Absolutely nothing.
unfortunately not until I think the end of this month. Unless, I haven't seen any new announcements of things. But, yeah, I don't think anything is coming out of here physically until like the 27th.
Well, believe it or not, it's a pretty similar story over in Japan. There are some releases coming up on the 20th of January, but that's not this week. Oh, wait, no, I lied. There is one release I found for this week. You ready? It's BioShock Infinite, the complete edition for the PlayStation 3 in Japan. That is out on the 15th of January. So there's one game to look forward to this week, which is really just a repackaging of a game.
Yeah, I think
that's been out for a while.
Actually, it's not the 27th; it's the 20th, and that would be that Saints Row: Gat Out of Hell, which I am totally interested in playing, despite the fact that the last two Saints Row games pissed me off because they weren't as good as they could have been. But I still will play everything and support the franchise because I'm stupid.
Oh, one other game. There is one other game in Japan this week. Hooray, on the 15th. On the 3DS this week, Kenka Banchao 6, Soul and Blood. And this seems like kind of one of those I don't know what the hell kind of game this is. It's like a fighting manga sim. It's
I
got to
like
be.
how that guy had laser eyes.
I think it's based on a series over there, though, because obviously it's the 6th game. So, but like, there's a scene where they're playing volleyball, and I'm like, is this Top Gun? What is this? What is it, tennis? And then they fight each other. That's interesting. Well, that's out
Sports
this week.
got a whole lot more dramatic.
That's right. Dark Soccer, how about the UK?
Nothing this week. I'll go ahead and do next week. On 19th of January, we have Blackguards 2 for PC, and on the 23rd, Saints Row Get Out of Hell. On a bunch of shit.
All right.
Done.
First big release of the year. All right, just a couple more stories for you guys, and then
So Captain Toad Treasure Tracker's not a big release then, huh?
that was bumped up and actually came out a little sooner.
Yeah, it came out on the 8th.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, I think it was bumped up sooner. I think they ended up getting it at the end of December. I think it came out actually sooner than January. I think. I could be wrong. But
It could be.
we had it in the States a long time ago.
Well, so we always do, so whatever.
Yeah.
You know what? Everybody in the UK, I will trade places with you. You can come over here and get your games early, and I can live somewhere with free health care.
Why don't you just go to Canada? It's a lot closer.
Poutine.
See? All right, now you're weighing the options. All right, just a couple more stories for you guys, then the classic game of the week. But first, Loki.
So apparently, originally it was thought that there was a leak to when Kingdom Hearts 3 would be coming out, according to Bill Farmer, who does the voice acting for Goofy in the game. He said that the game was due out in 2015. However, Square Enix went to correct, saying there was a goof. The release date for Kingdom Hearts 3 remains unannounced. It's coming out next year. Come on. I mean, it's probably coming out next year. But they just haven't announced it yet. And they didn't say it wasn't coming out. They just said it remains unannounced.
I don't think it is coming out next year. I think Final Fantasy 15 is their tentpole for next year.
That's cool. I'm down with that. I'd rather play Final Fantasy 15.
I think 15 is going to make it next year, finally. And then I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is 2016. I don't see why would they dump both the same year. That's a lot of Square. That's a lot of Square power for a year. I mean, if they do it, I will be very happy. But it just seems like 15, especially with 15 having a demo coming out in April, seems to be a lot more ready for prime time than Kingdom Hearts 3, which we've seen very little out of. I mean, yes, I understand there's voice acting and all this other stuff, but this guy, who knew? It might have been like a side story thing that's going to end up coming out, or like a prequel movie to the game, or something that might come out.
Just because he thinks it's due out in 2015, just because he doesn't know too much about the development aside from that he's done his voice acting and that's it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could be delayed, for various reasons. So I would say that it's definitive. And blanketing, 2015, that's still very plausible because it could come out at the end of the year. You could have Final Fantasy come out like in the summer and then have, Kingdom Hearts for fourth quarter or something.
We'll see. All right, well, one more story for you guys here for this first half of the show, and this is about Loki's favorite character, Tingle. And we almost had a Tingle resurgence this past year, apparently, because Hyrule Warriors, the team that made that game, they wanted to put Tingle in the game. Tecmo Koei actually wanted to put Tingle in the game, but Eiji Aonuma said no. Include a different character besides Tingle.
Why?
And the quote, actually, Tingle was a character we kind of considered and sort of went back and forth on. We really wanted to include him, but Mr. Aonuma suggested that it might be good to include some other character. Well, that's sad.
Why not both? I know,
porque no los dos. Why not both?
I just don't understand why they...
Time, blah, 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 resources, blah, blah, blah.
It would have been funny to do him like all realistic. Just have like some guy in like tights or whatever, just fighting, but it kind of has like the Tingle.
And Loki volunteers to do the mocap.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I wonder if this means what this could mean for Tingle's presence or lack thereof in the Wii U version of the game.
Oh, you'll get a new Tingle game before you'll get a new F-Zero game.
Oh, fuck you! All right, that was cold.
Hey, I don't like it any more than you. Okay.
All right, you know what? Let's travel back to a time when this was all a little bit simpler. There was no arguing for characters to be in or not in certain games. You just took what you got, and that was it. There was no internet forum to complain about it on. It's the classic game of the week. Every week, Dark Sakura steps into the gaming vault and finds a game where she thinks, hey, you should be playing this. And if you're not, well,
Then get a PC Engine.
That's right. Get a PC Engine so you can play it. There's a big hint. Dark Sakura, what is this week's classic game of the week?
It is a semi-little known game called Psychic Storm. It came out in 1992. It was put out by Telnet Japan and Alpha System. It was a Super CD-ROM 2, so you can play it on an American Turbo Duo. First of all, Psychic Storm is really just a basic vertical shooter. Where it starts in a place called New Hong Kong City, where there are these insect-like aliens trying to take over, and so the people who they have to get to pilot these, they're kind of like ships, but they're kind of buggy too. This would have been perfect for the bug theme, I guess. But they're psychically bonded to their ships. They have Alex, who has a Vulcan gun laser, Char with a psycho shell, Joe has a short-ranged Hellflame, and Natasha has the ion laser beams, which she was always my favorite to play. They also can transform, so like Alex can turn into a huge butterfly or something. They get a bunch of enemies will drop power-ups. It's the usual type of thing. Some orbs can actually fill up your life bar, that type of thing. You also have, of course, bombs that you have to use very, very sparingly. And, of course, it has two-player simultaneous mode where you can actually combine your transformations, and the transformations are what I'm getting into now. With your transformations, they actually can take up to 15 seconds to do your transform, and the game actually gives you time to do them, but in some cases, as I found out the first time I played the game, if you pull off a transformation on a boss battle at just the right time, you can actually completely avoid the boss battle and just kill it by transforming. So basically, you do a Sailor Moon dance and the boss is impressed to death. Sorry, I had to pop my neck. It also, they've got the different weapons, and then they have their different psychic attacks that, take over the whole screen. Although one of them, back when we first played this game, my husband thought they said, "I get pissed off." It actually said Psychic Storm, but my husband thought they said, "I get pissed off." So from then forward, this game be called...
Because they sound so similar.
Well, it was the accent.
I know.
But since then, my husband has referred to this game as I Get Pissed Off. It really is, as far as shooters go, I'd have to say it's pretty generic, except that the level and character designs are actually really neat. And it has a pretty decent soundtrack. It actually follows along some different genre. And I sadly do not have too much more actual information about this game or its release, because I couldn't find anything. I found very little. But so a lot of actually what I am giving you is just from having played the game. It does have some little elements of very bad voice acting in it, as in badly recorded voice acting. But I'd have to say that it's probably a solid... I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10 if I were going to rate it. It's a fun game. It's good to sit down and put an hour into it and beat the game. It's not super, super difficult, but it's got enough challenge in it to keep it interesting. So, it's no Spriggan, but, if you're looking at PC Engine games. But Psychic Storm is a really good solid game, and they get pissed off.
All right. There it is, your classic game of the week, Psychic Storm, or I Get Pissed Off, on the PC Engine.
Yep. PC Engine Duo.
Considering there was a lot of people last week who absolutely recognized the classic game of the week. In fact, I even saw a few tweets on it, like, I love that game and so forth. You kind of went from something very well known to something probably very few people have even played.
If I don't do something obscure every so often, I cease to be myself.
That is part of the charm of the classic game of the week segment.
Well, I've done games that, like, you only know them if you're a collector.
Sure.
And some games I've done, I think, are games that are on my wish list. I do have this game, though. I do legit have this game.
All right. Well, maybe for a future game stream at some point, we'll check this out like this guy's doing.
I have to hook up the streaming stuff and then get the PC Engine out of storage. Mm-hmm. And then find the game again.
Dig it all up.
Yep.
All right, there it is. Your classic game of the week, Psychic Storm on the PC Engine. Very good pick from Dark Soccer.
I could actually crap. Now I forgot the name of that emulator that I used to play for that I could play my turbo games on.
All right, don't go crazy now.
Okay.
All right, we're going to take a break, guys, though. When we come back with more of Orange Lounge Radio, we got more news for you guys. The Fugle question of the week, some news about Nintendo quitting the market. All right, at least in one part of the world. We'll talk about what that's all about when we come back with more of Orange Lounge Radio right after this. Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio, live on this Sunday night, January the 11th of 2015, episode number 583 of our show in progress. A reminder, no show next week. 584 will be here in 2 weeks. During the break, Loki showing me what he had put together so far for his Game Jam project, kind of his concept for the start of the game, and it looks fun. I see where some of that stuff is bugging you, like the like when you. I don't want to spoil things, but you can definitely see that stitching in the world map that was bugging you crazy.
I don't care about it anymore. Yeah, it's not so bad, but
it's buggy. It's part of the
I see it
atmosphere
when you're far away.
You should now that maybe some of these other people have freed up, not working on their games as much now because they're done. You should see if get any help.
I'm okay. I can do it. I just have to. It just takes time.
You're such a boy. You won't stop and ask for directions.
If I need help, I will. Otherwise, I'm just going to look up the answer because that's the only way I'm going to learn how to do it. If I look up the answer or figure it out myself.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's get into some rapid-fire news. Also in this segment, of course, the Fugle question of the week, our mailbag coming up, the FUs of the week, and your phone calls at 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. But not yet. We got a few segments to get to before we get to calls. Let's do some rapid-fire news, starting off with Loki.
All right, so there's a small rumor that the GTA 5 PC retail copies won't be Steam compatible, although I think that's a bunch of bullshit. But apparently this is coming from a NeoGAF user, or they said that they...
Oh, well, that's credible.
No, I'm sorry. No, I thought it was from the user. It's actually, they were talking about, it's like how many references deep is this? But it's, anyways, somebody says that listing on Green Man Gaming says that it has the other DRM logo on the GTA 5 page. What the thought is, though, is that it's not actually other DRM. It's just that it's tied in with Rockstar Social Club, so you kind of need a Social Club account. But they're saying that they have to log into their Rockstar Social Club account, and it won't be able to integrate with the Steam, which doesn't make any sense to me because I know that Grand Theft Auto 4 you had to log in with your Social Club account and that works just fine. So and also Max Payne 3, hello, that also had Rockstar Social Club, so that whole argument gets thrown out the window. I think honestly it's gonna have Steam support and it'll be just fine. And it wouldn't make any sense that they'd be selling a version of it on Steam and not sell it at retail, which is basically going to be a Steam key anyways, so it doesn't make any sense. But whatever, that's what they're reporting, so we'll see in a couple weeks here when it comes out on the 27th. Now, of course, with any release of Saints Row, they always do some lavish pre-order incentive or special editions, so they have a version of the game that's going to be coming with a Ouija board, or they're calling it Ouija, but it's a Ouija board, and it of course
I think the actual name Ouija, like OUI,
it's Hasbro,
yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, so you can get that with a special edition that's available at Game, I guess.
So you can talk to your friends in hell or make some new ones.
Exactly,
through the power of. How is a Ouija board powered? By the spirits, I guess, through the spirits that live in your bedroom and watch you touch yourself at night.
They want to make contact with
That's
you.
Right. They
Please stop touching yourself at night. I don't want to see that anymore. But yeah, you can get that if there's basically, it doesn't say what the price is of it. But it looks cool. I mean, I guess apparently if you there's a contest that goes along with it. If you take a picture of yourself using the Ouija board, then you would be able to win a night on a haunted town, or was it a tour on a haunted town or something like that, with some like UK spirit medium guy.
Maybe they'll make one out of rubber called a squeegee board.
The squeegee board?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
great for washing windows and contacting the dead.
And that should be coming out next week on the 20th in North America and the 23rd internationally. So I, on the other hand, am not planning on buying a special edition. I will pick up the version that's on PlayStation 4 because I've only beaten the game like 3 or 4 times already. and seriously, what the fuck? I've played the game over 40 hours, and yet I don't have the achievement for playing it over 40 hours. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and it's just not giving it to me. Whatever. Whatever. And then, anyways, there's another big game right around the corner, and that's Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. And they've released the PC specs for the game. So if you're looking to see what, if your computer can run it, and I was trying to figure out if mine can, might be able to. I don't know. Then you can check it out and see if it'll run on your system. But looks like I don't know, rather modest specs. So cool. That's it.
All right. I guess I upgraded my computer just last year, so I'm thinking Witcher 3 won't be a problem for me.
No, they're basically
other people may have some issues.
The minimum they're saying that you need like a Core i5 500K, and then was it they're saying AMD wise a Phenom 2 X4 940, which I have no fucking clue.
Some people are going to be left out in the cold with those specs.
I know my graphics card can run that because it's higher spec than what the minimum is.
Yeah.
As far as the high end, though, not so much.
Well, let's talk about the Awesome Games Done Quick Marathon. I don't know how many of you guys watched any part of that.
I unfortunately didn't watch any of it.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I wanted to.
A lot of it's on YouTube.
I just haven't got a chance to yet.
Yeah.
I will watch
the
it.
The Ocarina bit last night was a great finale.
Yeah.
They were still streaming some this morning too, but just like random stuff.
Yeah, they do like a little extended finale, I think. So, some of the Horde House guys like Extifer gets really into that. Shane was getting into it this year. A lot of my friends on Twitter get into that.
Flacco.
And it's definitely Flacco, and it's all for a good cause. It was all for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. They ended up raising, just to kind of conclude this here. Since it is over now, they have actually raised over $1.1 million. My understanding is last check it was actually up to $1.3 million. I wonder if it even got higher because there's still thanks to the YouTube and the Humble Bundle, there's still some figures I think coming in. So I'm not sure what they're at
buy that
now.
Humble Bundle? I don't even remember now, but I probably should buy that.
Oh my gosh, they're actually, I just looked just now, they're up to $1.5 million as of right this moment.
It's over. I've missed out on a bunch of games I already have.
Whoops at you.
Yeah, it's all right. I had pretty much everything in the bundle. That's why I didn't buy it right away.
But it was for charity.
Yeah, but I don't. How many copies of games do I need, really?
All right. Well, congrats to the great what a great way to kick off the year. A bunch of people that really, really love those games, doing a good thing for charity. Let's carry that tone throughout 2015, please, and none of the fuckery that brought down last year, please. So congrats to the Awesome Games Done Quick guys. Let's talk about Far Cry 4, which is not being handled as quick. There's some issues apparently with Far Cry 4 and the Xbox One. Apparently, there was some rumors out there that DRM issues were causing legitimate digital copies of Far Cry 4 to stop functioning. Apparently, the game at one point was delisted, although Microsoft says the delisting was an accident. Microsoft quickly fixed it. But some players were complaining of issues even after they had deleted and re-downloaded the game, that the game basically wasn't working. So some folks were thinking, the delisting was to fix whatever the issue was, although Microsoft in a statement says that the problems had nothing to do with any sort of hidden DRM, but there is no explanation as to what really happened. They say, as far as the DRM goes, quote, if customers own the rights to a game, they can visit their download history and initiate a re-download whenever they please, even if the game has been delisted from the Xbox Store and is no longer available for purchase, which is pretty much a canned answer that has nothing to do with the specific scenario. See, lastly, since we've been talking about like game jams and dev stuff, Steam Dev Days was happening about a year ago at this time, but there was no second year. It did not happen this year. It's not happening. Basically, a representative from Steam saying, quote, Steam Dev Days was a great way to brief a large number of Steam developers. This year, our focus will be a bit different, so we're planning a larger than usual presence at GDC. So there will not be a Steam Dev Days this year, but we will certainly consider doing it again in the future. So, last year, Steam also had the Steambox thing, which never did end up coming out. I guess they'll be coming out this year. But they had the whole Steam Dev Days to go with that. This year, it sounds like they're going to be kind of rolling that over into GDC this year, which, by the way, there is rumor that Steam will unveil the finalized Steam controller design. There's been early stuff, but the finalized design will show up in March at the Game Developers Conference. March is going to be a very interesting month because you have literally GDC and PAX East at the same time. They do overlap a little bit this year as opposed to being really close to each other as they were in years past. So, there you go. We'll see what comes out of GDC in just a couple months, even though we don't usually get like the big game announcements like you get at E3. There's usually a little something here and there as far as here's a new something that developers will have to work with. So we'll see. Dark Sakura, what do you have for us?
A few things. There is actually a notice for Steam. Double Dragon Trilogy is going to be on Steam and Good Old Games. So those should be up on January 15th. So,
but ask yourself, do you really want to play Double Dragon 3? Do you really? Because I bet you don't.
I've already got it. Oh no, ask Dan. He's the one who plays it. Also now, Theatrhythm Final Fantasy Curtain Call is getting Xenogears DLC. So you can get all of your Xenogears music stuff on that you would ever want to. And then, last but not least, Scrolls Arena is going to be free on PC. You just go to elderscrolls.com/arena and you can download it for free.
That's right. You can check out where all the lore upon lore upon lore in Skyrim and Oblivion and all that came from.
Yep.
Know your roots. There it is. Hitstun, what do you know about the Double Dragon Trilogy, arcade or NES versions? My thought is it's arcade.
I think so.
Because a different company developed the NES versions. So it's the arcade versions. And the iOS versions, and I think it's on Android too, are based on arcade. And I think this is just a port of the mobile phone stuff for PC. I think. That's what I was getting from what I was reading anyway. All right, well, let's see what I get in reading your responses to the Fugle Question of the Week.
It's radio controlled.
Every week, we ask a question of our Facebook and Google communities. You put those words together, you get Fugle. And we ask our communities a question each week and read some of our favorite answers here on the air. Although this week's question being pretty short, I think we'll get a lot of answers in tonight. And, since the news was a little bit light this week, I thought we'd kind of do some more talk about the year, kind of looking forward to what's going on. So we asked the listeners this week, although some of the biggest releases of 2015 will surely be revealed at upcoming expos and conferences, like, the E3, the GDC, the PAXs, and so forth, we want to know, what game at the moment are you most looking forward to in 2015? Starting on Google Plus tonight, Reddertainment says, I'm most looking forward to hearing anything about The Last Guardian. Failing that, Mirror's Edge. Act Deft responded, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. But if I have to pick something not Kirby, Splatoon. This game looks really interesting, and I really want to see how Nintendo makes this work. Also, Overwatch is another game I really want to try out. Prince Peach Fuzz. I love that name. Prince Peach Fuzz over on Google Plus says Metal Gear Solid 5 with a little exclamation point, meaning we caught his attention apparently with that question. Let's see, looking at some of the answers over on Facebook. Ooh, there's a lot of answers on Facebook. Monty Boggs says, after playing the Halo 5 beta, it's become my most anticipated game at the moment. Let's see, Andy R. said, IAVT Colorful. It's a rhythm game coming to the Vita, featuring one of the newer Vocaloids, IA. which is like Hatsune Miku is a Vocaloid. Ursa Being Slurpee said it's a tie between Witcher 3 and The Division. AZHP says Metal Gear Solid 5. I replayed Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 on the HD collection. I was reminded how crazy and dumb that game series is with regards to story and weird Easter eggs. I can't wait to see what Kojima's done this time. Fifth Dream says Final Fantasy Type 0 HD is what I'm waiting for most. Cial says Bravely second. Renji221 says right now I'd have to say Batman Arkham Knight from the gameplay they've shown so far. Guillermo R says if the new Zelda decides to show up in 2015, then that's it for me. Oh, and Final Fantasy 15 with the demo coming out in March, it should come out before the year is over, right? Am I stupid to hope it'll actually get finished? If you are, Guillermo, then call me stupid right there with you. Tiger Claw says there are many games coming out this year, but I think two of my most anticipated games have to be the new Star Fox on Wii U and Batman Arkham Knight. Last but not least, Red the Haze says Yakuza 5. I know it's an older PS3 game, but I love how you have a gritty gangster crime drama with a teen girl idol who has random dance battles with people as combat. Dance battles are made by the people who make the Hatsune Miku Project Diva games. That does sound awesome, actually. I think Yakuza is a series I really need to get into that I haven't been playing enough of. Clearly, if that's what this series is all about.
That's not what the series is all about. They just do some silly things from time to time.
I'm okay with silly things from time to time. How about you guys? Most anticipated games of 2015?
I would like to see, basically a Crackdown. That looks awesome. I would like to see No Man's Sky. And as far as beyond that, I mean, it's whatever else we haven't heard of yet. I'd love to try out a virtual reality thing, whether it be the Oculus Rift or if it's, the Morpheus or something else. I mean, that would be kind of fun. That's what I'm more interested in, is kind of like the VR stuff, what they're going to do with that. But yeah, Crackdown. I gotta have some Crackdown.
All right,
that might get an Xbox One for that.
That might be a thing because that's something that Microsoft really pimped out last year. So I would assume this E3 they're going to show the gameplay.
Well, that and even Quantum Break looked pretty awesome. So
that's true. That's still a thing.
Check that out. And I don't remember what Sony had for aside from Uncharted, but I just don't care about that series. So I don't remember what else they had.
Street Fighter V, which obviously is more Capcom, but there was a bunch of stuff at their little.
I know they had tons of at E3. I just don't remember
their Vegas show.
Yeah,
was huge too.
I just don't remember what honestly,
they got the order,
I'm more interested.
The order's right around the corner.
That doesn't look that great. I'm more interested in the stuff that they haven't talked about yet. That'd be coming. Like, hey, Saints Row 5.
We'll see.
And let's have a good Saints Row 5 because I don't know what the fuck they could possibly do now with Saints Row aside from time travel, and I think it's hit the peak of ridiculousness that it could possibly hit.
Dark Sakura, what about you? What's your most anticipated game in 2015?
I honestly don't know. Probably more Dragon Age DLC.
Well, I was going to say...
Silent Hills.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Silent Hills. That's a good one. Oh, yeah. I can't believe none of our lilisteners said that. Well, then again, there's no guarantee it'll be this year, right?
I don't care. I still like
PT Part 2.
PT Part 2. I was going to say Dark Sakura, maybe helping you with an answer. I'm hopeful that Mass Effect Don't Call It 4 is this year.
Yeah,
BioWare really does put a game out every year.
To get my hopes up, so
I would think no later than spring 2016.
I don't want my hopes to get up and then have my heart broken.
I understand. Save that if we can't have more info on Mass Effect Don't Call It 4. Final Fantasy 15 for me, which some of the other listeners already said. I definitely... I'm of the mindset
I don't
want
to play Pretty Boy Road Trip the game.
I think Pretty Boy Road Trip is one very small part of a much larger game. I
know.
I think we're focusing too much on that. You all right?
Yeah, I just there was something I did have on a list, but I for the life of me cannot remember what it is right now.
What about going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com? Tiger Claw says, what about Battlefront 3? Do you think that will come out this year? When I first looked at that, I thought it said Battletoads. That's a huge rumor.
Battlefront 3 will come out when Star Wars comes out. They're going to time it with that release, I'm guessing. Zelda also would be another one.
Of course, Zelda Wii U. Did anybody say Zelda Wii U? Oh, no, I think we did have at least one or two listeners that said that. That might be one. Absolutely, Zelda Wii U. I can't wait to see more on that, especially if they're going the Skyrim route with it.
The second thing, a DLC coming for Mario Kart 8 sometime soon?
Oh, yeah, the Animal Crossing? March, I think, is when that's due.
Why is it so long? I mean...
I think they just want to stretch it out as long as they can.
It's ridiculous.
I know, a little silly. Maybe that's around the time they're going to announce an Animal Crossing Wii U game. Maybe. Tinfoil hat.
Or that's the time that they're going to release more amiibos that are going to coincide with the DLC.
Maybe.
So right around the time they'll have Animal Crossing amiibos that go along with, Animal Crossing and Mario Kart.
We'll see. All right. Let's get back into some news. And your calls in a little while here at 1-877-GAME-OLR. But first, we've got a little bit of news to get through. Loki.
Yes, Nintendo has decided to end distribution of its hardware and software in Brazil. And they're saying due to the high import tariffs. And starting in January 2015, Gaming do Brazil, a wholly owned subsidiary of Yegos de Video. I'm not going to pronounce that. It's too hard for me. Will no longer distribute products in Brazil. And despite the changes in Brazil, there'll be a distributor for Latin America and will be committed to the brand and the region. So that kind of sucks. But I guess, they were saying it's just so ridiculous that, like the price of systems, it's like several thousand or like several $100s more than what it is in other places.
Yeah, apparently the fees are really high. I'm hearing they have a lot of problems with the digital distribution network there too. Like it doesn't work with any of the banks in Brazil. So I guess like there's like no eShop content like at all in Brazil, which, is a huge source of money for Nintendo, probably even more so in other territories where it might be harder to just walk into a GameStop and get a game. So that's probably another strike against why Nintendo is ceasing operations in Brazil. I would love to hear, I know we have listeners throughout the world, so, it's hard for us to sit here and comment what's going on in another country. But if you happen to be in Brazil and have any insight on this, let us know. Because I know we used to have a guy in Argentina and then Chile that listened. I think he's kind of moved on to other things now, but I'm hoping maybe we got some other people in South America who might give some insight as to what's going on. So, all right. Let's see, looking in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. ActDef saying eShop isn't available in Brazil as far as I know. Dungeon Buster says Brazil's tariffs are nuts. Apparently on launch, a PlayStation 4 was $1,800 because of taxes. Yeah, that's a little nuts. It's not going to lead to good business in the country, that's for sure. All right, well, let's move on to this. This is kind of big news, and I'm not seeing a lot of people talk about this, but I think this is kind of big because, last year we had a lot of run-ins with Let's Plays and the legality of that and, what is acceptable on YouTube and so forth. You might remember Nintendo got into a lot of these issues and so on. Well, Microsoft this week coming out with kind of a clarification on their policy on how they view the Let's Plays and the streams and all this other stuff. So with Microsoft's new policy, you will now have, if you're a content creator such as me or what have you, any of you other folks that do Twitches or YouTubes, you have a, quote, personal, non-exclusive, non-sub-licensable, non-transferable, revocable, limited license to use things like gameplay footage, screenshots, and music. But as long as you don't do any, you can't promote bad things in your stream like piracy and all that stuff and do offensive content. Also, what else is interesting is that you are not able to profit off the content created except for YouTube and Twitch ads, which is the most common way that folks are making money off of it. So I'm assuming what they don't want you to make money off of is more like the, whatever the product placement or other things outside of the ads that you may come across. You can't sell or otherwise earn any compensation from your item, including through advertisements in the item. You can't charge money in exchange for your item, post it on a site that requires a subscription or other fees to view the item, or post it on a page you use to sell other items or services, even if they have nothing to do with the game content or Microsoft. You also can't use game content in an app that you sell in an app store, which makes it so like if you're a Let's Play, you can't make an app that is all your content on iOS and make money off that if it's Microsoft stuff. But you are able to do YouTube and Twitch, which is kind of the most common thing that most people are into as well. Now, even though this is for Microsoft Studios and the things that are Microsoft, It does exclude Minecraft because Mojang does their own thing. Even though there was the purchase and with Microsoft buying them, Minecraft has their own set of rules from 2013 that are still in effect. And if you are curious, Red versus Blue, which is created by Rooster Teeth, they have a separate agreement with Microsoft that is between them. So there you go. If you're curious for more information about how that all works, xbox.com/en-us/developers/rules. Or I'm sure if you Google, Xbox game content usage rules, I'm sure you can find much more about this. So there you go. What do you think about that? What do you think about Microsoft's rules? I do think
it's nice that they put it out there so that, at least there's something that, say if there ever was a copyright strike, you'd be like, refer to this
right
type thing. Because kind of like how they have with Microsoft or with Minecraft. But I don't know. I think it's fair. I don't see that. I don't think that's really a bad thing. And I think Nintendo, they had something where it was kind of, hey, do what you want now.
I mean, at least, it's tricky. Like, where is the balance? Where is the balance with this stuff? And I think they're trying to find a decent balance between, like, okay, you can make a little bit of money off of it, but you can't be, like, keeping things behind locked doors and selling subscriptions of stuff that's based off things we made. But a little light ad revenue, like the YouTube and Twitch stuff, is okay. And I think that's as close of a compromise that's fair as we're probably going to see for a long time. And as a content creator, I'm kind of okay with that because, I've been having to do a lot of thinking about this is that, game makers, they make these videos or, I mean, if without it, you wouldn't have the videos. So they kind of, they do deserve a little bit of it. And I have seen other Let's Plays that are nothing but captures from the game. And I'm kind of always like, well, when you're making money off that, but the people that do the commentary and the jokes and have a little more, with it, okay, then you're at least adding something to it. You're making it a little more Mystery Science Theater or whatever. There should be, a little room for you to make some money off that, just to pay to keep it going, if nothing else, pay you for your time. So, yeah. Which I can assure you, creating content as I have on YouTube, I'm not even getting that much. I think I've made in all, off all the videos I've done in the past year, I think I've made $1.
I've gotten one check from Google.
Have you really? How much?
Well, the minimum is $100.
What? How'd you get $100? What are you doing that I'm not doing?
I'm not doing anything. Aside from, I just did a few videos. It mainly the one that had most revenue was I did a thing on how to sideload stuff for the Ouya, and so that video keeps getting watched. And then there was one that was I had one that got Disney Infinity early, and I kind of did a real quick unboxing type thing.
Yeah.
But that's it. I mean, that's really all I've done. But it's just that those
none
videos
of my
are
stuff
out there.
really has gone viral. I think the video I have with the most views is I have a Diablo 3 Barbarian video that I just randomly did and share, and for some reason that has more views than anything else I've done. Wacky reason.
I don't really keep track of that very much, but I was gonna see. I'm trying to see what my AdSense is back up to again because it takes a long time for it to get paid out, especially since I don't put any videos. Someday I will, but it's just I don't have time. What do we got here? Oh, hey, that's not bad.
What?
I've got, so the last time it was $111, and I've got 61 sitting there. They haven't. But they're not going to send me a paycheck. Oh yeah, woo! Yeah. When they paid me out the $111? That was back in 2013. Okay, so it's not like I'm making a ton of money off of this, over the course of a few years. But hey, extra money is money, so. Even the official PlayStation account actually tweeted out one of my, because I got on that share play thing right when it first came out, and I had a Final Fantasy 14 video, and PlayStation saw it and tweeted it, and even my Diablo 3 video has more views than that, which kind of surprises me. I thought the Final Fantasy one would be the most popular. I'm not sure I have that one monetized. I try to I don't monetize all my stuff by default. Just the stuff that I'm pretty sure there's studio clearance on. I usually use that Let's Play. There's a wiki out there that shows which creators are okay with it and which aren't. Yeah, I haven't really put anything up that's worth
something like that would actually be good to repost in a comment section.
Yeah. It floats around.
It's
out there.
okay per here.
Yeah. Not that always helps on YouTube because they pulled my video on.
Well, they're just being butts.
Super Hexagon, even though it's pretty clear they're fine with the Let's Play and monetization. But anyway, all right, let's move on. Dark Soccer, I think we're over to you.
Yes, I believe so. Well, I have to say that I was right. That the real shepherd was always a lady. Actually, as it was stated from the developer Jonathan Cooper, who was I believe the one that did the first animation test for what would become Commander Shepard, used a female model, very clearly a female model. Actually, something pulled from a previous game, but it was what began. And in fact, I watched the little running animation, very clearly female. But it was a motion capture taken from the game Jade Empire of a female character. And that's what became Commander Shepard. I mean, they always had the intention of, letting you choose, but she started life that way. She.
I realize that for some people, FemShep is the only Shep in headcanon. Although I certainly appreciate the fact that I can have man-on-man Shep. That's my personal thing. But it's interesting, though, that sometimes characters may start one way and they completely change when they're in development, which, I don't think it's fair to say in this scenario anything necessarily changed.
Yeah.
But I do know, one that I had come across not that long ago, since I was getting really back into Final Fantasy 13 because of the PC release. Fang, who's my favorite character in the game, started as a male. And was originally a male character that was going to be the character of Fang, and somewhere along the line, Fang changed to a female, and I really can't picture it any other way. Like Fang is just like a badass chick, like my favorite character by far in that game. Like I don't know, I have a hard time picturing it as male. Although I go, that would make an awesome gender swap cosplay.
Why can't we have German Shepherd? I want German Shepherd because I think that'd be awesome. It's like totally out of Silent Hill, the dog ending, except it's not the dog ending, it's the whole game.
Well, my FemShep was Sherry Shepherd. So, as seen on The View. Yeah, maybe Sybil Shepherd was one. Anyway.
Shepherd's pie.
Dark Soccer isn't speaking, but she has a look on her face that basically says, please stop.
Which means we have to keep going.
Exactly.
I will stuff you in an animatronic body.
Yeah, by the way, what she's not saying...
But I'm not going to promise that I won't murder everybody after that.
She's been spending the last hour of the show on the Five Nights at Freddy's wiki ever since I brought it up in Part A. She's been reading...
I didn't make it that far into it just because I got motion sick every time Foxy would run. Because I didn't pay enough attention to the diva. If you don't pay enough attention to Foxy,
yeah, no, I know.
Foxy will run at you, and if you don't slam the door immediately, you will die.
Yeah, no, I know. I heard
with that mouth.
Yeah, that little noise they make. Which, Foxy got me with 1% of my battery left. By the way,
well, because he also drains your battery if he touches your door. If he goes to your door, he'll drain 1%, then 6%, then 11.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, if you let it happen, so it'll actually drain your battery.
Wow.
But crap, what was I going to say? Did you ever get the Golden Freddy?
No, I didn't survive that far.
I did get the Golden Freddy on my second playthrough.
Oh, wow.
And you hear this giggling if you look at the poster. Mm-hmm. And that's actually slowed down for their regular laugh. So, creepy. Anyway, sorry. Mass Effect.
Unless we get a Five Nights at Shepherd's crossover, maybe. Who knows?
I can just imagine that.
But it's the Volus that slowly run.
Waddling toward you.
Yes.
Going. That breathing noise.
This one needs to die.
That's a Hanar.
Or Hanar.
Oh my god, the Hanar would be Chica.
All right, anyway. Let's see. We got some more stories here, Loki.
All right. Sorry, I was being distracted by German Shepherd again. So Nintendo's talk about the change of heart. You remember Nintendo at one time was kind of barring the use of Smash Brothers in fighting game tournaments and stuff, and now they're supporting and sponsoring Apex 2015. That's going to include different games, including Ultra Street Fighter 4. Smash Brothers, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and Pokemon. And it's pretty awesome. The tournament's going to run from January 30th through February 1st, 2015 in New Jersey. And they're also going to stream it on Twitch. So, cool. That's probably a pretty awesome sponsor.
That's quite the turnaround for Nintendo. I guess they listened to feedback.
Yeah,
a lot of feedback last year.
Yeah, that these type of things help promote your game. You should let people do that.
All right, let's see. Moving on. Speaking of Nintendo, those GameCube adapters, highly sought-after devices, and I'm surprised it took this long for us to be talking about a third-party GameCube adapter. And now, even though the official GameCube adapter has not been discontinued, good luck frickin' finding it anywhere. It's not really showing up anywhere. So, third parties have come in to fill in the gap about the GameCube adapters, and Mayflash is the company that's putting one of these together, a GameCube controller adapter. You can get it for $20. It's available on Play Asia, but I'm sure there's some other websites as well. What happens, this is very similar to the Nintendo GameCube adapter, but shaped a little differently, and there's a switch on the side to let you swap between Wii U and PC. That's kind of cool. So you can actually use your GameCube controller on the PC with that, which could be pretty cool for playing some of your Steam library games. So now, granted, nobody's gotten their hands on this yet, so we don't know if it's as responsive and so forth, but, I mean, this is a pretty hard thing to screw up, right?
You would say that.
It shouldn't be that hard to just turn wires into other wires, right?
Well, it's not as simple as that, but yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Rama says at least these third-party ones are PC compatible. Hitstun says that Mayflash adapter is not bad. But Kaijudo says, I don't do third-party electronics. Fuck that. And I can understand where some people want to keep it, with the official stuff, because Nintendo ain't going to support one of these if your system gets all screwed up because of it. As little complicated as I believe these devices to be, but it makes sense. So, well, hopefully Nintendo will. I don't understand the way they work sometimes, is that they really thrive on this hard-to-get shit, and it's getting old. It's getting old, it's getting frustrating. Sometimes it's hard to love you, Nintendo. Sometimes it's really hard. Really hard. I already told you I'm over this amiibo shit. I was at this point where I was like, oh, I got to get Mega Man. I really want to get Pit. No, I'm done. I'm over the amiibo shit. I'm over it. It's too much of a game. It's like, if I give my money, I should be able to get... It's just... What a mess. Anyway, let's get into the mailbag and the game of reading your emails, because you send them to us every week. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com if you want to participate by sending us an email. Darkstalker's going to dive into the mailbag over at participate at orangeloungeradio.com and read whatever emails may be awaiting us tonight.
All one of them.
All one of them.
Save this for a show with a light mailbag, as the scenario is a little lengthy and particularly weird. Well, you have good timing.
Yes, you do.
Maybe I'm obsessed with survival type games, but here's an obviously hypothetical situation for you. None of you know each other yet and do not have the families you currently have, and you happen to be most comfortable sleeping unclothed. What? You just get home at night, play some games, watch some TV, have dinner, then throw all your clothes in the hamper or washing machine, take off any watches and jewelry, and drift off to sleep only in your bed sheets. What? One comfortably warm spring night, you turn in, and in the morning, or what you judge to be morning, you wake up in an unfamiliar place, still naked, apparently nowhere near any known civilization. Neither alcohol nor medication are involved. Nonetheless, you have no idea where you are or how you got there. You wake up to one of three scenarios. 1, you are in the middle of a massive grassy field. There's nothing as far as you can see except for gently rolling hills of dirt and grass, spotted by dandelions and maybe some loose stones. There don't seem to be any type of wildlife around, but there might be burrows or shallow dens in the soil. What? 2.
You have a very active imagination, my friend.
2. You are in a surprisingly dense forest with tall trees partially obscuring the sunlight. You can hear birds in the trees and little else. Nobody's expecting you to be able to tear trees down with your hands, but branches, leaves, and possibly fruits are accessible just pretty high out of your immediate reach, save, of course, what's fallen on the forest floor. What?
Kaijudo in chat says, is this an email or is this
Yes, it's an email.
Is this a perv sexting?
3. You wake up on the main floor of a long abandoned mid-sized suburban house with the windows and doors boarded from the outside. There's no electricity, water, or gas, and what furniture is left is deteriorated but somewhat usable. The stairs to the basement have collapsed, and you cannot see what is down there, but you know you are there alone. All you can see between the boards over the windows is a grassy field to the east and a dense forest to the west. Given what you know from gaming, TV, and most importantly, reality, which scenario would each of you prefer to be in and why?
What?
And only slightly disturbed Robert M.
This is I'm not even. This is what you need to do, Robert M. Like, seriously, you need to go download Twine and start your text adventure game, because you've got a script going here. You clearly have an active imagination for this stuff. Just go make your game. Why didn't you? Did you send in something for the game jam? I don't think you did. So now's the time to start.
Now that Rob's tirade is over, I have
What was
an
number
answer.
2 again? I wasn't.
That was being
That's
in the
not my-
dense forest.
That's not my
Dense
tirade.
forest?
I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm not anti this, but I'm just
No.
saying you go.
I would vote
go
for
ye
number
forth and make your
2
game.
if it were me.
Okay.
Because in a forest where you can hear wildlife, you have the potential, if you need to make something to protect yourself, you can find leaves or, you can make shelter in the woods. You can find food.
But
It is much easier
in
to
scenario 3, you are in a shelter already. It's like, fuck,
But
I don't
you
have to make a shelter. Done.
but you don't have food.
Yeah, but you can go outside.
And I gotta say, I'm for scenario 1, because it sounds like TLC's Naked and Afraid. Which, by the way, the Golden Globes weren't the competition tonight. Tonight was the Gay Mormon show on TLC. That was tonight. Oh my God.
That just pisses me off.
No, it looks. You know what? There comes a point where you go, this just looks like a fucking train wreck.
What is
I have
Naked
to
and
see
Afraid?
it. What, you've never heard of Naked and
I've
Afraid?
never heard of
Oh
Naked
my
and
God. Well, thank you, emailer. Now I can explain to Loki what Naked and Afraid is all about.
I'm going back to the wiki.
There's a show on TV, and this show should be mixed with Five Nights at Freddy's, quite honestly. No, there's a show where they take two people and they're naked in the middle of nowhere, and yes, they film it. They use the blur boxes, right? So you don't see nothing you can't see on basic cable, and they have to survive for I think it's 3 days or something like that out in the wilderness, and you watch them go crazy, and they're afraid of all the sounds they hear out in the wilderness, which is probably just the cameraman, and all that. That's the show.
That is seriously a dumbass show.
That might be on Discovery Channel, not TLC. Maybe somebody will correct me in
I'm
chat.
glad that this is the new Discovery where they don't make up shit anymore. Discovered our lies. Oh no.
Now the chat room is just going off on this email. Take it as a compliment, though, Robert M. Let's see. Act Deft says five nights at Robert M's. Let's see. Kaijudo says this guy is like a porn version of Saw. SSG100 Matt says this feels like an SAT question. And Fifth Dream says PT, the email. You are standing in front of a house. There is a mailbox here. P.S. You're naked. I'm sorry.
See, it would be even freakier, though, is it if you went to bed like you normally do, in pajamas or whatever you wear to bed, and then just were naked anyway. That would be freakier.
Hello? Is this a sex stream? Hello?
Hello? Where's my hot person to bang? Where are they?
I see no Turians.
You know what, Robert M? It sounds like you're really going to have to go with your gut, because literally each one of us voted for a different answer. So you're really going to have to just kind of go with your gut and maybe make all three of your interesting scenarios.
The way that he described them, they technically should be in the same universe. You get a random scenario with each awakening. Because the house seems like it's stuck between the edge of the forest and the field. So I think it's the same location, just different parts of it.
But I'm still naked, right?
Sexy times.
You just fashioned
La
some
la
clothes
la
on that
la
couch.
la 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 la.
Is Zachary Quinto there? Is he naked?
Did you know that Toy Chica is really weird looking?
All right. Act
Is
Deft in
Toy
chat.
Chica there too?
Act Deft in chat says, press X to call for sex. Fifth Dream says, this is me 3 nights a month. Go to bed clothed, wake up at least half naked. Oh, that sounds like another scenario for a game. Where did my pants go? That sounds like an OLR dream game in the making.
Wait,
Where did my pants go?
No,
that's from a
from
Dane
Lego
Cook
movie.
thing.
Oh, is it?
What's in my pants?
I didn't say what's in my
That's
pants.
from the Lego movie.
Is it?
Where's my pants?
I haven't seen the Lego movie.
Well, now you.
Oh, shit. All right. Anyway, thank you for the email. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com. Think you can outdo that email? I dare you to try. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com. It is that part of the show now. What an appropriate time for us to get into the FUs of the week. Why? FU. That's why. Sorry, I have to read this comment from chat. SG100 Matt says, Robert M. might have just pitched us No Man's Sky for all we know. That's right, we don't know what the hell that game is, so who knows? It could be it. No Man's Sky is just naked and afraid
But
the game.
there's spaceships, though. So
that's right, you're in a house in the middle of a forest. All right, Dark Soccer, FU's the week.
So, FU to migraines, and FU to people who try to put off pseudoscience as actual science. Some of these people have their degrees for a reason. Just saying.
All right, Loki.
It's just being just comment. You wake up next to a donkey with no pants. Well, I would be disturbed if I woke up to a donkey wearing pants, so I guess that's okay.
Oh, love the chat. All right, Loki, your FU.
FU to the lack of sleep. I'm tired. Actually, no, I'm not tired now. I'm super wide awake because.
Hooray Red Bull, hooray
Caffeine.
coffee, hooray pizza.
Yeah, why'd I do that now? I won't be able to sleep. Work on my game.
You work on my game, yay. Then work on my game, too. All right.
Yeah, no.
My FU of the week goes to, oh my God, just last week. Just all of it. No, there was some good things from last week. I can't really complain. So just FU to my super busy week. But I am thankful for this upcoming weekend. I'm going to have the best weekend ever this weekend. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. I can't hide it. There it is. FU's of the week. Just a couple more stories for you guys. And then the phone call time. 1-877-GAME-OLR. Or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. But first, Loki.
All right. So layoffs have hit Codemasters. They're saying it's part of their strategic realignment with, I don't know what exactly that means. Making more racing games, is that part of the alignment? Because that's what they're great at. But small number of roles have been proposed as being a risk of redundancy, so they are removing that redundancy. They've cut 30 jobs.
Well, that's a shitty way to start off the new year, talking about layoffs already. Unfortunately, this is also a common time for that to happen.
But
I think.
yeah, and at the same time, while it is unfortunate that they're cutting jobs, if you have jobs that are redundant at your company, I mean, maybe sometimes it's you're paying people to work, and if they're not working as hard as they could be, maybe just slim your company down, make it more profitable.
Yeah. Fifth Dream in chat says that means, quote, we fired people because we needed money. That's
well, I mean, I don't know. They put out some decent racing games. I just don't know if they're like top tier.
All right. Well, I got news. Well, not really news. More like rumors on another popular game series. Raise your hand if you like Seaman. That's right. Raise your hand, everybody. Do you like Seaman?
Really, Rob? You do?
I do. I love Seaman. It's a great game. And, of course, I'm talking about the Sega created game from the Dreamcast system, which we've talked about many times on this show before. Of course, that's what I'm talking about. And it looks like there's a lot of fans of Seaman out there on the interweb, including Devolver Digital. You know the indie publisher Devolver Digital, right? The CEO Fork Parker on Twitter just basically told Sega, we want to make a new game in the series, and then went directly to the creator of Seaman saying, we want to do this. And apparently the creator replied asking about formats. So this shows that maybe there's a chance.
I would love to see them have it. Honestly, because Devolver is awesome. So I'm all down for that.
Well, I love this because Fork actually went to Ute Saito and said, "Hi, if you still own the rights to Seaman, then let's make a new one." And Ute Saito replied and said, "Hi, for smartphone?" And Fork Parker replied saying, "Maybe PC and smartphone." So I thought it was interesting he went for smartphone. Like, maybe they're already making one for smartphone. Who knows? So, anyway. By the way, if you didn't know, and Dark Sakura has surely covered this in a previous Classic Game of the Week because we love this game, but in Seaman, you had a microphone and you actually would interact with the fish with the dude's face on the screen that was Leonard Nimoy. So, I mean, that alone was awesome right there, that you could talk to Leonard Nimoy and he would say things that didn't make sense, basically. So...
And you could friend his butt.
And you could friend his butt, like that one very popular YouTube we played. Oh, I don't even remember the name of the guy who did that. That was one of my favorite YouTubes. By the way, an official sequel was released for the PlayStation 2 in 2007. In 2002, Nintendo was apparently interested in resurrecting the series for 3DS, but nothing ever came of that. So good luck, Devolver Digital. We hope you can do it and spread Seaman all over the world. That is what we hope you guys are able to do from all of us here at OLR. So... SSG 100 Matt is interested in this only if Leonard Nimoy voices it, apparently, over at live.vognetwork.com. Let's see. And Kaijudo saying hopefully they can get Leonard Nimoy. That would be awesome. So, there you go. Let's open the phones. It's that time. 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, if you want to give us a call. Again, that's 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, all one word, which, you know, they make Skype on, like, every single device out there, like your smartphone. Like, if you don't want to actually dial a number, you could probably use Skype to do it. It is so easy to call our damn show. So if you want to talk about anything we've talked about, you want to talk about your love of Seaman or anything else that we've talked about in the show tonight, you can certainly do so. Let's do that. Oh, we got some calls coming in. Let's get to it. Hello, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
This is Max.
Hey, Max. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Just figured I'd call in and see how this whole thing works. That was really fast. I guess you guys have probably been waiting longer than I could hear on the stream.
There is a little bit of a buffer, but there's also a little trick too, where sometimes I open it up a little bit before we're actually ready for the calls for just that reason.
Excellent.
Well, what's on your mind, buddy?
Not much, man. It's been a good show. We finished a project for the VOG Jam, and that was a lot of fun. And I've just been having a blast playing the entries that have been rolling in. So
you've actually checked out some of the entries that people were posting in chat and so forth. See, I've played none of them yet. I'm going to wait and live stream it all. But is there any particular standouts so far that you've noticed?
I've pretty much liked everything that I've played so far. My personal favorite right now is Hitstun's game, Skeleton Hunter.
Yeah.
It felt so much like when it's like the perfect buggy game. It just felt so much like you had just gone to a rental store in the 80s and picked up the NES cart that's not the right shape. And you're like, why is this the wrong shape? And then you take it home and you play through it anyway, even though it's terrible.
Yeah. What did Color Dreams put out on the NES this time?
It's just a platformer, but like it works. Like all the stuff in the game works, except for it also there's a lot of things that you don't expect. Like you can stand on pretty much anything, including projectiles, and they'll still hurt you, but you can just stand on them. And there's times when you can get to the edge of the screen when you're not supposed to, and it'll wrap to the left-hand side of the screen, and you'll suddenly be somewhere else, and you have to kind of like work through that stuff. And it's just really great.
Nice.
I really liked it.
Well, I know he was really gung-ho about the idea, right? He was there the night we picked the thing in Listless. He was very excited about it. Now, we were honored to have you guys from Cooking with Unity participate. Not only that, you guys, like, taped the whole darn thing, so not only can we play your game, we can just watch you make it on YouTube.
Yeah, we recorded just shy of 12 hours for the game, and we showed everything on the show except for one thing that we kept as a surprise, which I'm not going to say because I want you guys to play it.
So a little surprising. Can you give us a brief overview of what your game's about?
Yeah. What we did is we made a first-person shooter, just a really basic one, kind of Doom style with like sprite characters and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then what we did is we made it so that's not actually the game. The game is you have to find bugs in the game and mark them. And so like the walls all can randomly not work. And so if you find a wall that you can walk through, you can right-click it and you'll mark it as a bug. And then like enemies can have the wrong AIs, and power-ups can like not power you up. They can do the opposite. And so you have to find all the things that don't work, mark them, and then complete the level, and it gives you a score out of what bugs you found and what things you marked erroneously.
So you basically made like QA tester the game type of
exactly,
thing.
Exactly.
Wow, that is so clever. I am really blown away, like that these things we're talking about, what you did and what Hitstun did and what all our listeners, that have participated in this did. I am just so blown away by the mere fact that this wouldn't exist if we hadn't, had the idea.
No,
so cool.
I'm glad you said the words, man. You just throw it out there. Do
So
more of
cool.
these. It's great.
So cool. Well, and there's still more to come too. I'm still very gung ho on completing my own idea, and I know there's others out there that feel very similar.
I'm still gonna work on mine. I need to sleep because I haven't done that in almost in a few days, and like I had to go to work like early in the morning and work like a 9-hour day. It's
about balance.
I just have to maybe I think tomorrow I will just go to bed early and then just kind of sleep for a little bit.
Well, Max, we got to say a big thank you to all you guys at Cooking with Unity, because that episode where we had you guys on, we were talking about all that was really a huge motivator. And so I would argue that none of these games would exist without that either. So you guys get a huge credit in making this all happen.
Well, thank you. I think that's probably undeserved, but thank you. I do think that just you guys organizing this was awesome, and thank you for inviting me on the show. Like that came out of nowhere, and it was truly a pleasure.
No worries.
As far as the other two games, I just wanted to mention real quick.
Yeah.
Umbria 4, I haven't played it much at all, but it's a text-based adventure game, and I think I ate the first person I saw, and so I have to play more of that game. I just haven't had time to dig into it. And I also want to try out VG War just because it's a card game, and I love card games. Like, it's literally a card game you print out. It's awesome.
That is so cool. That is so cool. So a bit of the inspiration behind a lot of this is actually playing the games you guys made. I love how full circle this is all coming. This is so cool. So cool. I'm loving it. So. All right. Well. Who knows? This may not be the last game jam we do. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the coming months. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Anyway, I'll let you get back to your regular programming on the show, and yeah, keep on keeping on, and yeah, great show.
Well, I look forward to continued episodes of Cooking with Unity, which, of course, our listeners can check out at cookingwithunity.com, and was a huge part of me learning Unity. And even though I don't have anything yet, I will, and it'll be thanks to these guys. So
got to finish that game, man.
I will.
I'm going to bug you about that.
All right, you do that. You should.
All right.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.
And also,
that's why it's a buggy game. It's a buggy game because everyone's bugging me to finish it.
And also, since we're on the topic of things that Max does, you need to play Grand Theft Auto 5.
I do. No excuse on that. I really do.
I also need to play Grand Theft Auto 5. It's been a while, so
I said I would get it when it comes out on PlayStation 4. There's just been so much other stuff to catch up on. But the gaming time of year, it's now a good time. Now is a good time. Yeah, I think But I also still need to play Dragon Age Inquisition all the way through. But we'll get to that at some point. Anyway, we got a lot more calls coming in. Let's get to it. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
This is VidPower.
Hey, VidPower. How you doing?
Good. Hey, guys.
Hey, our buddy out there in Vegas, Las Vegas, where a lot of stuff was happening at the end of last year.
Yeah. There was the Game Awards and the Sony PlayStation Experience, and now CES just happened up. So yeah, huge events here in Vegas.
Oh, it's starting to become the and then there's always those rumors that E3 is gonna move to Vegas, although LA is not gonna let that happen without a huge fight. So, but anyway, I digress. What's on your mind tonight, buddy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I just want to talk a little bit more about CES. It's always,
Oh, yeah. CES, of course, happening just this past week, even though usually not a lot of game content out of CES, but sometimes, I mean, y'all know I still talk about Game Room, and that was something that had come out of CES, so sometimes you get a few things here and there. Did you go and check it out?
Indeed. Yeah, I totally checked it out, and yeah, like it was interesting because the main theme, I guess, the main trend this year was actually VR gaming. There was quite a bit of demos and from a lot of the companies kind of showing off their headsets and their mobile, their like forward walking things that you can walk on while you wear the headsets.
What did you think? Did you actually get hands-on with like some of the big ones like the Oculus or some of these other ones, or what happened?
No, I didn't actually get a chance to go hands on. There was only like one one demo for each of those, and there was a pretty huge line. But
Yeah.
I watched a lot of people play, and it was one of them really interesting though. It was the guy was standing on this. It was almost like if it looked like a treadmill, but it was like a stationary platform, and the guy was wearing like really like special shoes that kind of like
I forget what that's
slide
called,
on
but
it.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
This guy was at E3 too. This guy, they had like it looked like they were
It was a
actually
Kickstarter. Yeah.
they were actually in like the run and gun game. Like they couldn't do demos for us, like with us in them because of insurance purposes or whatever. But I totally know what you're talking about. They were at E3 as well.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. It was like the Virtuix Omni or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of interesting. I never saw the guy like strafe left and right, so I thought that was interesting. But yeah, he was just kind of doing his thing.
It looked intense. It looked like the gym of the future. It was an intense workout. Or as we always say on OLR, it's one step closer to the holodeck.
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, Sony was there too. There wasn't, it's not really not too many games there. There most of the time it's always like there were other electronics, but they were demoing things like the Order 1888 was like the main thing they were demoing, and they had a few stations set up for a PlayStation Now, I guess, since they just announced their monthly
The subscription stuff, right?
Right. But yeah, I mean, it was other than that, the only other gaming stuff I thought was amusing. So you know that shoe company Skechers?
Yeah.
You probably saw, or you may have not seen that news. So they have these shoes that like it's almost like that old like toy from like the 80s, Simon?
Yeah.
It's so they put this like contraption on their shoes, and it's called like the Skechers Game Kicks, and it's basically a giant Simon like toy like on your sneakers. That's
dumb.
It lights up, and like you could like sit down and like play Simon.
I saw a picture of that somewhere out there, and I thought that was crazy. I didn't realize that was Skechers. I actually enjoy, like, not to endorse a product I'm not being paid to endorse, but I will say I do usually wear Skechers shoes. One of my favorite
I'm wearing
brands.
them right now.
Loki's wearing them right now. So the fact that they're putting out a pair that has Simon on it's kind of
dumb. Is what it is.
dumb. It is kind of dumb. But you know what? It's no dumber than pumps. Let's remember when like,
that was really
junior
dumb.
high school.
But you know what
Pumps?
I totally want though?
Huh.
Those new Nike Back to the Future shoes that are going to self-lace. Yeah.
You know what?
Ooh.
Pumps really are stupid because they do awful things to your feet and your posture. Just saying, don't wear the high heels.
I loved those things as a kid. I love those pumps.
I was
wouldn't
talking
You missed
about-
the joke.
Yep, Rob, put your hand over your head. You might catch it when it
Yeah,
was.
no, well, I wore those pumps as a kid too. But anyway,
And I've seen you traipse across the stage in them too.
that's right. I was in the Rocky Horror Picture Show for how long? I think I've worn a pair of pumps in my life. Anyway. Oh, VidPower. Sorry, we took your chat about CES over to cross-dressing, but that's what happens when you call in OLR.
I expect nothing less.
All right, awesome. Well, VidPower, glad to hear of your time at CES, and we'll next time we'll have to try and get some updates from you, like live on the show floor or something as it's going on, so we can talk to you while you're actually there. Be fun.
Nice.
All right, you're a man in Vegas. All right, well, take care, my friend.
Later.
All right, bye. I'm sure I'll be seeing him later this year because I'll have to go to Sony's event. If Sony does another thing in Vegas, I'm going to have to go to that. So we'll see. 1-877-GAME-OLR. Our username on Skype is Orange Lounge Radio. The chat was lighting up a little. Or sorry, the Skype was lighting up a little bit. So we do have some time for some more calls. I will ask Loki, though, if there's any other last-minute stories he wants to get to while we wait for...
Since we talked about it earlier, Puzzles and Dragons, they have a statistic that they've exceeded 42 million downloads worldwide.
Worldwide, wow. So that was 6 million in the U.S., but 42 million worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right, let's go to the phones. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hey, this is Act Def.
Act Deft. Oh, my God. Is that a fat Chocobo plushie you have right now?
Yeah, it is.
That is so cute. Where did you get that?
I got it from Amazon, actually. It's though it's kind of expensive. It's like $75.
What? That's
Yep.
too much money. Is that an official Square product, or is that like a knockoff something?
No, yeah, it's official.
Huh.
Well, Rob, you
But it's
remember
only
the giant
sold in
rappies?
Japan, so that's why it's so expensive because it's also really big.
I
if you
want
can see
one.
it.
It's so cute. Yeah, that's like as big as like his face is as big as your face. That is a
Yeah.
huge chocobo. All right, that's adorable though. I want to hug it. I'm hugging it. You can't see me, but I'm hugging my computer screen right now. That fat chocobo is so adorable. All right.
Well, anyways, something related to importing, and especially because of Nintendo retiring the Wii U and its market of Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
It's like already has been said. It's because of taxes and import fees. That's something that I have talked about before in OLR, but still, it's something worth bringing up again because it's something really that affects every single gamer in Latin America, from Mexico to Argentina. So it's something that everyone in Latin America can relate to Brazil. So it's not something that surprises us even for a company just to say no, we're not selling our product there because it's way too expensive, especially with Nintendo and their finances right now. So it's pretty obvious.
Right.
We have heard the stories of the PS4 selling for way over like 4 times the cost in the US. Like here, even it basically costs not double, but it costs at least half more of what it should cost in the US.
Well, and you've talked about this before on the show about like living in Mexico, you will pay more. Just like in many ways, funny enough, like your fat chocobo that you have there is like even in the U.S. I'm going to pay more money for that because I have to get it from Japan, so I got to pay those import fees. And everybody along the way, from Square Enix in Japan to me here in the States, everybody along the way that little fat chocobo passes through is going to want their cut.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the point. I have the fortune or the luck, of living next to the U.S. So I get my stuff delivered in a PO box over there in the border city next to us.
Oh, it's smart.
I have the luck of that. But I have other friends who live very deep in the country, or even South American friends that have to pay import fees. So even if I had ordered this like from eBay because it's also there, and have send it directly to Mexico, I had to pay more fees. I have to pay a more expensive shipping fee, and even import fees because of how much it costs and the size and the and the weight and all that. And it would have been way more expensive to get it.
Mm-hmm. Now, Fifth Dream in chat is yelling "smuggler" with little face there, but and I'm sure he's just teasing. But I mean, aren't you kind of left with no other choice?
It's basically that, or just pay way more for it, because it's really crazy how taxes work here. Because for every single thing, you have to pay something more, almost. So for me to get something like this, I seriously have to do some loopholes to the law to get it. So yeah.
Well, we have to pay taxes too on everything we buy with sales tax usually, unless I live in Oregon or something. But even then, something's being taxed, be it income, property, et cetera, et cetera. But wow, I mean, yeah, I mean, I know it's sometimes with the trade and stuff, it's very interesting how that all works and complicated, and like you said, Mexico may have it a little bit easier because of its closer proximity to the U.S. than a place like Brazil. But at the end of the day, it's still the same, is that there's all these taxes and yeah, crazy.
It is, and there are many people here that do a lot of stuff to get video game things, anime things, just to maintain a hobby. It's really something you have to be careful of in terms of expenses.
Yeah.
Because you can pay probably a lot cheaper price than what you would pay in a regular store here, and I can make many examples of it. But like I said, especially with this Chocobo plush, I paid $75, which converted to pesos, it's something around the 1,000 pesos mark.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I would have paid probably like 1,500 pesos, 1,500 pesos, just to have it brought over here directly.
Jeez.
And especially because it would have taken way longer, and it's way more of a hassle.
Wow.
I have the experience of a Beta memory card, 64 gigabytes, that they don't sell in the US. It took around 2 months to get here directly.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what? Thank you for that. I think this all serves kind of as a humble reminder is that gamers are everywhere, but access to games a lot of times depends on where you're fortunate enough to be. So a humble reminder there that some people have to pay a little more to play the games that some of us take for granted. Thank gosh, though, for PC and all that. That PC and digital distribution really cuts a lot out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I have called also about this on Steam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That Steam sells here the games way cheaper than in the US. So, well, not all the games, but most games on Steam. So that helps a lot. But still, building a PC or buying PC parts here, it's really expensive. But in the long term, it's way better.
You can't play Nintendo games on PC. Well, not legally anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you take care, ActDef. Thank you for the call. Appreciate the perspective.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You're welcome, man. That fat chocobo is so freaking cute.
Bye-bye.
Oh, all right, bye. If I didn't have a trip to Seattle coming up this weekend, I'd be checking my wallet right now. Do I have $75 on the card? Could I do it? Because I kind of want it. Dark Soccer, I want that fat chocobo.
If I buy one, it's for me.
Can you buy two?
No. Well, you remember Julie had that wrappy.
Oh, yes, I remember the wrappy.
From and she paid like $105 for it.
But wrappies are really cute too. That's basically Phantasy Star Online's version of a fat chocobo in a way.
Yeah.
Anyway, one more call for calls. Haha. 1-877-GAME-OLR, username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. We don't usually do more than 3 calls, but we have a little extra time on tonight's show just because the news ran a little faster tonight. Isn't that weird? We had literally no news the past couple weeks, and we ran longer. Of course, we had some lists and some other segments to fill time, but we will try to take a couple more calls. 1-877-GAME-OLR, username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. Loki, immediately check in with you again to see if you have any other last-minute stories.
No, I don't have any last-minute stories. I'm working on my game now.
I guess we covered it all. Any progress on your game? What are you working on right this minute? What are you trying to do?
Right this minute, I'm trying to set up something that when I get on the starting line in this one spot that it stops for a second so that I can do a countdown and then it lets me go. So I'm trying to figure out how to turn off the acceleration on my car script. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat by having it hold down the handbrake so it can't move. Because, hey, it works. But it's not exactly the way you should do it.
All right. Well, we have some stories sent to us from folks on Twitter. I always love to hear from folks on Twitter over at twitter.com/OLR. And Jason, or username IamJasonC, sent us a tweet. And the headline on this is, EB Games is removing all copies of Elder Scrolls Online from stores. Spaghetti-O. Although I believe this is Australia. But let me look. I'm looking at this story here that says all copies of Elder Scrolls Online, including the prepaid cards, are to be sent back to the publisher. Everything relating to the game would be removed by January 13th. Now, they did issue an update to this, and EB Games said on their Facebook page that this removal is part of a normal stock recall, which would include numerous video games. So the source apparently had said that other titles mentioned in the list are excess stock, however, whereas Elder Scrolls Online was all stock, including the prepaid cards.
You know what that normally means? Because the last time I saw something like that where they recalled the stock, it's because it was going free to play. It was DC Universe.
And you know what else is very interesting is on Horde House this week, plug for my other show on Wednesdays. On Horde House this week, we talked about that they were getting rid of the 6-month subscription plan. That was already going away. You could no longer get the 6-month subscription plan, and some folks were taking that as a sign that the game was getting ready to go free to play.
I think it's going to go free to play.
That's two. That's 2 signs now.
Just
Where there's smoke.
because that's what happened last. Well, with DC Universe, they recalled the stock. They gave us basically like a window of like, okay, you have to return it by this date. But it was shortly. It was right after they announced it was going free to play. But if they're anticipating that it's going to free to play, they may do the same thing, or just maybe it's just not selling, and they have an opportunity to send it back and get reimbursed for it because they're just not selling copies.
Very interesting. Well, thank you for the tip there, Jason. It looks like those of you that have wanted to play Elder Scrolls Online but didn't want to pay to do it, well, you might get your chance here coming soon. We'll see. Anyway, since the Skype line isn't ringing again, I think everybody who wanted to get through did get through. Thank you to those that called in. If you think of something after the fact, you want to get in touch with us later, you can always tweet us, twitter.com/OLR, or you can send us an email, of course, participate@orangeloungeradio.com. Tell us about your dreams. Just, Tell us how the Gay Mormon show went tonight, or the Golden Globes. Why not? Let us know. We'd prefer, though, if you'd keep it about video games, but I suppose anything's going to turn into a tangent here on OLR, but I think that's what you guys appreciate.
Go play all the
show.
VOG Jam entries.
That's right. Check out the VOG Jam entries. If nothing else, there's now they're kind of a little bit all over the place. So what we're going to do in the coming days at VOG Network, we're going to do an article for the site that will summarize where you can check them all out. Now, some of them are very easily accessible at vognetwork.com. They've been added to the arcade. I know at least Hitstun's game that Max was talking about, and Bobby Blackwolf's game, he participated too. I know at least those two are right there on the VOG website, so very easy to find. The rest there's a lot of them plugged in the forums, but we will have an article in this coming week that will kind of compile everything for you with one place to go. And then, of course, as I said, I'm going to go through and play them all, at least the ones that I can stream, because I just realized I think one of the entries we got was a card game, so that might be a little harder to do.
Yeah.
But well, you never. I might be able to YouTube it. I'll try to get Dark Soccer over here. We'll play a card game. That'll be fun. We'll put it on YouTube, like the VOG Jam entry. That's a card game that we got, not a PC.
I mean, like what? I'm kidding.
Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to Orange Lounge Radio tonight, and thank you for participating with our show. If you like what you heard here at Orange Lounge Radio, remember, we don't, beg for money to do this show or what have you, although there might be a charitable cause once in a while. All we ask is help spread the word about Orange Lounge Radio. Please leave us a nice review on iTunes or Stitcher Radio. And I got to say, there was a really, really kind one on iTunes this week that was so awesome, and I wish I had it in front of me. But, of course, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't have the review up in front of me. I'll see if I can get it while we're doing our final thoughts here. But yeah, I really appreciate that stuff, and we all do here at Orange Lounge Radio. So even if even if you've told a friend or two about the show and you're still wondering what you can do to help us out, those reviews and things go a long, long, long way. So we really appreciate it, whether it be on iTunes or Stitcher Radio or wherever it is you heard about Orange Lounge Radio. That stuff really helps out. We will not be here next week. Reminder, we're taking a little holiday break, a late holiday, but we will be back in 2 weeks live when games are actually coming out again. And hopefully all of us here in studio and all you out there will get to play some more games, catch up on that backlog, and we'll really start to kick off 2015. And hopefully you've all played the VOG Jam games at that point. We can talk about those too. In the meantime, since we're getting close to the end of the show here, it's time to go around and get everybody's final thought for the night. Loki, I know you're working hard over there on your game, but what is your final thought tonight?
I want an Oculus Rift.
You want Oculus Rift?
Yeah, I'm looking at them on eBay.
That still surprises me. You haven't played one yet.
No.
Yeah, I understand.
DK2 would be nice.
My final thought tonight, I found that review I wanted to say, so I want to give a big, big thank you to, I'm totally going to mispronounce this. I think it's Sereigh, 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 maybe? So I want to
say
Sari. I want to thank, whoever you are, I want to thank you for the review. OLR is a long-running gaming podcast with wonderful and diverse hosts. They entertain and inform week after week in a way that speaks to the gamer, not the industry. In the Forest of Gaming podcast, I'm laughing after that email tonight. In the Forest of Gaming podcast, OLR distinguishes itself with realism and connections with its audience. This isn't just another gaming news show. It's a lively community that prides itself on giving every gamer a voice. And I read that and I go, that is, oh my God, that's exactly, yes. That's what I'm saying to that, yes.
I wiped a tear.
I did, it's awesome. I appreciate that, I really do. All right.
No, I legit found myself tearing up a bit. Legit.
It makes it all worth it. It makes the past 583 episodes all worth it, and the upcoming 583 episodes, right? All right, Dark Sakura, don't want to leave you out. What is your final thought for listeners tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys. Really appreciate the support of Orange Lounge Radio. And again, I am blown away by the success of the VOG Jam. And even if for whatever reason you didn't get a chance to participate and submit a game, maybe you had a situation like me or Loki or something, go play the games and show these creators your support. And you know what? Are you going to find the next Minecraft? Maybe not. But will you have fun for a few minutes checking out some original work? I think you will. So enjoy.
Unfortunately, Minecraft didn't really follow the criteria of buggy games. So
I don't know. Sometimes that game can bug me. All right. That's it. Have a wonderful week, everybody. We will see you in 2 weeks again with an all-new Orange Lounge Radio. Good night.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into vognetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or VOG Network, but you know they were all still true. See you next week.